Ardent's here already. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. Ardent already with the hello. And LOL just watched your Nosferatu video. Going to the theater follow up now. Oh, yeah, I got really ranty on that one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't really like Nosferatu as much as everybody else did. I mean, I didn't think it was the worst movie I ever saw or anything like that, but I think overrated. Yeah, I thought it was overrated. I mean, the cinematography's gorgeous. Yeah, pretty gorgeous, but the story, yeah, I did not like. Did not like the way it rolled out. But that's just me. Just the way I roll. I'm a very harsh critic against everything but the Pineys, books 1 through 16. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free, Joe. So what did I do this week? Well, this week is Christmas vacation, baby. So not a whole lot. Did family Christmas stuff. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome, JEC. And there's Arden again. Hello. So did the usual Christmas stuff. Did Christmas Eve, Feast of the Seven Fishes. I'm told there were 8. I tried to count them today, but I can't remember. I can't remember eating 8. Ardent. Pineys 1 was a whirlwind. Thank you for reading Pineys number 1, Ardent. I really appreciate that. That is kind of the way I write. I write in a whirlwind. It's like a tornado of hilarity. Right, Little Joan? Right, Little Joan? So, yes. And it continues from there. So what else? Nothing really. Just a lot of relaxing, spending time with the girlfriend, and we were eating. We went to lunch today. That was nice. I went to Ponzio's Diner. It was one of the nicest days in South Jersey in December. Let me tell you, late December. It was 62 degrees today here. That is crazy hot for December here. When I was a kid, there was snow on the ground from late October, or usually by early November we had snow. And I remember it being on the ground for 4 months. Like, we would get snow and it would never get warm enough for the snow to melt. Now, we had one dusting of snow, slightly more than a dusting, and that's about it. It's all melted now. And today, 62. Are you kidding me? And now it's starting to rain again. It's probably going to pour tomorrow. It's going to be in the high 50s. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts, Little Joan. Little Joan is upset because she didn't get to go out. But don't worry. I fed her ham, and she loves ham. Oh, you love the ham. Oh, you love it. Carter Chain is here. We're getting a new polar vortex in 2 weeks. It's supposed to be -12 in Michigan. Jesus. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. You can keep it in Michigan, Carter. Enjoy. JC, we got a good snow just in time for Christmas. It's all melted in the last 2 days. Well, I like it when it's like that. You know, I don't mind a little snow on Christmas, but then I want it to all go away and not bother me until next year. Ardent, we had an El Nino in the mid-90s that seemed to have changed our weather for the last few decades. I remember them talking about El Nino. They don't talk about it anymore. I guess it was a permanent change, or I think we're just going for a warm phase now. I think that's just the cyclical in the earth. That's my theory. What's that in Celsius, Carter? Let's see. -12 in Celsius. Let's see. 0 Celsius is 32 degrees. Because that's 0 is where water freezes. So -12, I'm thinking it's like probably around -5? -4 or 5, somewhere around that. Ardent, what's that in commie Celsius, Carter? Oh, you said commie Celsius. At Ardent, unfortunately not. Ardent, I think around -30. Oh, okay. So it's the other way. It's more It's more numbers instead of less. Oh, that's nice. My girlfriend's watching the stream. She says I look good. I didn't get food down my shirt. Thank God. Uh, no, she didn't say that. I'm saying that. So yeah, it's crazy weather here. Weird for and it starts warming up now. March, really in February now. Last year in February we had like a 70-degree day. That was like late. I think it was like around February 22nd, somewhere around then. It was crazy. And this year, so really, at this point, we got about 2 months to go, and it's springtime here. I love it. Indie Phantom Mufasa versus Sonic in a fight to the finish, manipulated by Disney. I don't know how much good they did themselves, really. I mean, they put it in more theaters. JEC, it's minus 24.4444444. Arden says, hi, Tony's girlfriend, in all caps. 24 degrees. Brr. That sounds bad in Celsius. But so maybe it's 2.2. 2.2, is that the conversion rate? But anyhow, before we get into the countdown of the best and worst films, let's take a quick buzz through the numbers. And it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is winning the battle this week. Not by less than $1 million. It did $38 million in its second week, a drop of only 37%. And it actually went out of a handful of theaters. Now, some of the foreign market numbers are finally coming in. Did China? China hasn't opened yet, I don't think. No, it's not opening until January 10th in China. That's going to be a big number for Sonic the Hedgehog. Carter, what's the weather like in New Jersey in April? I'm hoping the weather is good when I visit. Oh, it's nice. A little rainy, depending. Usually pretty rainy. You know, we have all the classic seasons. So we have rain in the spring. We have usually snow in the winter. We have leaves falling in the fall, usually. But you got to add about 10 degrees in 2 weeks to everything now. So our summers now last deep into September, October. And so our fall really, it's still fall here. Winter really hasn't started at all. I mean, unless you count the little bit of snow we had. We had a few winter days, but it's crazy. But April, yeah, it should be nice. It should be in the 60s at least. But it may be a little rainy. So bring an umbrella. Ardent at JEC, I was kind of close. Conversion F to C is weird and mathy. Celsius equals Fahrenheit 32 times 5.9. That's too much math to do in my head. Next up at number 2, again, The Lion King. This is in its second week. Now it's up 5%. But that's because Disney apparently pushed it into more theaters. But it didn't help them. Didn't make them number one. It looks like they came up short by about $900,000. So that's weird and pathetic. Now, they are over $100 million for the weekend domestically, but what's the name? Sonic is above that. They are over $200 million internationally, but I think they've already got the numbers back from China. Yeah, so the numbers are already back from China, and that was only 7.7 million. Mexico is where it did really well, 8.7, and France 8.4. So that's weird. I gotta imagine though Sonic is going to do quite well in all the Asian countries. I mean, you think Americans are into video games? It's nothing compared to the Asians. I play still a fair amount of video games, mostly on my phone these days. The one game I continually play on my phone, is absolutely dominated by the Koreans and the Chinese. You cannot hope to take the top slot in anything in the game. These guys are constantly on their phone. They're constantly playing the game. They probably pissed away God knows how much money on it. I never spend money on those games, but they do. You cannot catch them. It's impossible. They are ridiculous when it comes to video games. So, therefore, I think Sonic is going to absolutely crush it in Asia. Japan too. Did the Japanese numbers come in? Let's see. Not yet. No Japanese numbers as of yet. It dropped. Well, that might be some Japanese numbers. It dropped on the 27th, so the international box office may include Japan. I don't know. But I gotta imagine this will do gangbusters in China. So, Ardent, we have a brutal rainy season between fall and winter here in southern Newfoundland. The classical meaning of the word dank. JC, France loves that gay shite. Pardon my language. France. Number 3 is Nosferatu, which I reviewed in a video. 21.1 million. A weird time. Look, this movie would have been the number 1 movie on the weekend if they hadn't opened it now. Why would you release this movie on Christmas? Makes zero sense to me. It's a horror movie. It's kind of scary. I didn't particularly care for it. I didn't like the screenplay. I mean, the cinematography is very nice. The story, I had some problems with it. You can watch my video. My girlfriend liked it, though. She liked it. It's a love story. And that part of it's not bad. It's just, I don't want to get into it again. JC, should have put it out in October. Exactly. I don't know why you wouldn't put Nosferatu out in October. That would have crushed anything Halloween-y. Would have absolutely crushed it. The only reason I could think is just, number 1, the scheduling was it just ended up there. Maybe it got delayed by a couple of months and that's where it ended up. Or they did release Last Voyage of the Demeter around, I think it was Halloween. Was that last year? I think that was last year, wasn't it? And it didn't do well. So maybe they figured, we don't want to throw another Dracula movie in the mix. I don't know. Indie Phantom, forgot to watch the Nosferatu review. Johnny Depp's daughter. I found the prior versions dull. They are seeking Oscar glory. Cinematography, I would give it. I mean, the look of it's great. Although I didn't like the look of the Nosferatu himself. It's a look. It's not what I liked. Indie Phantom, Last Voyage of the Demeter was painful. That's what I hear. JC, Kamala was supposed to win. It was meant to be some Masonic ritual to usher in the new commie vampiric era. Well, maybe. I don't know. I just didn't like the story. You know what? Part of it was I recently watched the 1977 Louis Jourdan Dracula movie, which mirrors this almost exactly. And I didn't like Louis Jourdan as Dracula, but the rest of the cast is really good doing the English Victorian thing. And that was much better, I felt. And I didn't like Bill Skarsgård's shtick. I didn't like his look. I mean, it was a look, but I don't know. I didn't like he looks like a Turkish Dracula. He's got a giant mustache. You can't see the fangs. He's bald. I don't know. JC, they made Nosferatu sexy? Oh no, he is not sexy in this at all. He never once gets sexy. But there is a ton of nudity and gore in it. He's naked in it. Bill Skarsgård. You see the vampire's unit. And I didn't need to see that. And it adds nothing to the story. JC, did you see the Herzog version of Nosferatu? Is that the 1922 one? The silent movie I've seen. That's kind of amazing movie. They had what was it? Impressionist painters paint the set. It's really cool. It's a cool movie to watch. I haven't seen it in years. It was a long time ago, but yeah, I've seen that. Um, you know, it's. I mean, this one, it. I don't know. I just don't like it. I just can't get past certain aspects of it. They just put things in the movie. I go, why is this in the movie? JC, it's the 70s remake with Klaus Kinski. No, I definitely haven't seen that one. I've probably seen clips of it. I'll have to check it out. Number 3 is Wicked, dropping from number 3. Somehow making more money this week, 19.45 million. This is a juggernaut. I'm not interested in seeing it at all. 634 million. It's doing well. So who could argue with the financial reason to do this movie? I think though the lead witch, Erivo, she's a bit odd. I don't know if that oddness is going to help the movie or hurt it. So far, it hasn't hurt it, but I feel like they're teetering on the brink that at any moment they could hurt the movie. And I also feel like they expected this movie to tank somehow, and they were prepared to call everybody racist and jerks for not seeing it. But then it didn't happen, and they still had this really odd PR campaign where they acted very strange during the interviews. But whatever. I mean, theater. I didn't realize there were that many theater majors and women who like theater in the world to see this. They like the songs, apparently. I've heard. I'm sure the songs are fine. JC, yeah, the women who star in Wicked are weirdos. Yeah, even Ariana Grande, who I feel is putting on an air of being a weirdo, but it's such a turnoff. I actually, for a few minutes, contemplated, well, maybe I'll go see this, because the critical drinker said it wasn't, he acknowledged it was kind of a good movie, well acted and everything, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll go see it, because I usually like the same movies he likes, but, yeah, no, it was kind of a turnoff, like the whole being weird, I'm just like, JC, chicks love Broadway stuff, you kidding? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a trope, but yeah, in general. My girlfriend liked it, kinda, but she thought it was long. Number 4 is Moana 2. So that is also doing pretty well. 18.2 million. So this is a good week for Hollywood. I kind of don't get the appeal of this sequel at all, other than it's for kids, right? Just seems like, well, the first one was a big movie. Now the parents are taking their kids to see the second one, or more kids want to see this. And I think this is a musical too, so it's got some of that crossover appeal with the Wicked audience. So, but I feel like they're just doing to movies and video games and comics, like everything else. They're just feminizing everything, and it's just like, oh, men, we don't need your money at all. I think that's a huge mistake. I think you're going to miss out on a big section of your audience, and eventually something's going to break. Something has break to it. I mean, watch my video on movie theaters if you want to see me go absolutely out of my GD mind. Indie Phantom. She probably still hurt the film regarding the weirdness. If PR wasn't so nuts, they likely would have made even more. I don't care about the positive reviews. Will avoid. Plus, they didn't even get the whole movie in OE part. The sequel might suffer from that. Yeah, 2 movies is stupid. 3 movies, a trilogy makes sense. 2 movies makes no sense to me. But because everything happens in movies in 3 acts, not 2. Like, I don't know how. I think the movie ended on a cliffhanger, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a wrong way to end a movie. I I think it's the same problem with Tom Cruise's last Mission Impossible movie. It was probably a mistake to do that. I think you need to end the damn movie and then just make a sequel. But all right, another movie that premiered this week kind of got gobbled up by everything else is A Complete Unknown. 11.6 million, not too bad considering all the competition, but that's yeah. I mean, this is the Bob Dylan biopic. Oh, it says here 23 million. Oh, I guess that's from Christmas. They're counting from Christmas. And just let me say to the person who complained in my comments about my imitation of Bob Dylan, and they were so mad that I was doing his voice an injustice, I would just like to say, because that's what he sounds like to me. Weird complaints this week. I had a guy in my YouTube comments. He was like, you used to call out a lot of BS. What happened to that? And I said, well, you got to go to my other, you got to go to Rumble, Bitchute, and Odysee for the political and the news stuff, because I put all that stuff over there because YouTube kept flagging me. I almost got kicked off. My whole channel almost got, quite frankly, I'm surprised it still hasn't happened, because I still got some videos up. I'm sure YouTube, if I ever got a lot of hits on them, they'd be like, ah. JC, a movie called Complete Unknown is doomed to obscure. I mean, that was part of the lyric in one of his songs. So I'm not sure. For the people that this movie's aimed at, I think they would get it. But that's got to be an older audience, right? Bob Dylan's no spring chicken. I mean, Bob Dylan had been around long before me. And, even when I was coming up, it was like, oh, that's kind of the older beatnik stuff. I'm not really into that. So, I think this is kind of late. And you probably shouldn't even do this movie until Bob's dead. But, JC, Tony, don't play that recording Bob Dylan singing. YouTube will strike the channel. Oh, okay. It will strike the stream. Right. Yes, I'm sorry. Number 7 is Baby Girl. This is that Nicole Kidman movie. God, I can't stand Nicole Kidman anymore. I mean, I kind of tolerated her, but this movie, this is like my nightmare. So it's 4.3 million. This is Nicole Kidman as some oversexed older woman who falls in love with a younger dude in her office, and they have a torrid affair or whatever. JC, there are literally a billion better lines of Bob Dylan lyrics that would make a better title for a bio movie. Well, I think what they were going for is a line that would also encapsulate Bob, right? So he was a complete unknown when he was new, and then so that. I don't know. Feel free to name one. But this Baby Girl movie, this is a total chick flick. Not for me. And on top of Nicole Kidman, no thank you. No thank you. All right, Joan. Joan's got to go. Bye, Joan. Joan's off to lick the plate with the ham. Dropping from 6 to 8 is Gladiator 2, 4.1 million. Still doing okay. Surprisingly, this thing is already on streaming. People are still going to the theater. I don't know why. Theaters are hell. Number 9, dropping from 5, is Homestead. This is the second week, dropped by 47 million, or 47%. So this is doing okay for an Angel Studios flick, I think. 3.1 million. Probably made its budget. It's hard to gauge. Let's see if they have a budget here. Yeah, they don't want to brag about their budgets because I suspect that their budgets are very low. So Angel Studios, this is probably, I mean, It's like at 12 million. It's probably at least broken even by now. But they're trying to build up their library, I think. Number 10, The Fire Inside. What the hell's this? I don't even know what this is. Oh, it looks like some kind of female boxer movie? What the hell? The story of Clarissa T-Rex Shields, a boxer from Flint, Michigan, who trained to become the first woman in her country's history to win an Olympic gold medal in the sport. Okay. I heard nothing of this movie. I was desperate for a trailer the other day. This did not come up at all. It's from Amazon, 2 million. That's not a lot. That movie looks like it's struggling. But this is a bad week to release it with all this competition. Again, it's not necessarily a Christmas movie. Why don't you sit on this for January? You might do better just because of the lack of competition. But Craven the Hunter dropping from 7 to 11. How's this thing making any money is beyond me. 1.7 million in its third week. It should be ripped out of the theaters. Again, in Nosferatu, the guy who plays Craven the Hunter is in it. He looks exactly the same. He's got the same hair and facial features. It's like Craven the Hunter in Nosferatu, and then he survives to the modern day. It's nuts. They should have never made this movie. Any comic book fan would have told you, don't make this movie. Number 12, dropping from 9, Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim, The Woke, Lord of the Woke, The Woke, Lord of the Rings cartoon, $455,000, dropping in its third week by 63%. It's only in 1,100 theaters. I don't know why you made this movie. I mean, I guess it could have been good if you had followed the story. Number 13, dropping from 10, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, from Lionsgate. This has had some legs. It's done fairly well for what looks like a low-budget family comedy. So kudos to Judy Greer. Alex Ogle is here. Happy New Year, Tony, and all watching. I'm having my last evening in the UK before returning to Kanukistan. I watched Evil Under the Sun, 1982, and Gosford Park, 2001. Much better than new crap. I'm sure, because the new crap, it's going to be tough to find. I'm going to have a piece of paper for the best and worst movies of 2024. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I'll get the 10 for the best movies. I'll definitely get for 10 for the bad movies, but for the best, I don't know. The Brutalist is number 14. It looks fine. But again, it's in its second week. It only dropped by 24%, but it's only in 7 theaters. Why would you release this now with all the competition? Seems like a weird time unless you want to tank this thing. $200K. You got to put this in wide release. I mean, none of these numbers even really count for The Brutalist. I don't know why you bothered. Flow, which is that cat cartoon, going out of theaters at $194K. A Real Pain, also going out of theaters, $153K. Honora, still hanging on. In its 11th week, $118K. Good buzz on that movie. Conclave, I don't know how this thing is still in theaters. $69,000. It's only at 57. All We Might Imagine Is Light, 53,000. Excuse me, in its 7th week. Bloody Axe Wound. This sounds super familiar. Premiered this week. Bloody Axe Wound. What the hell is this? Oh, I think I know what this is. Indie Phantom says, Happy New Year, Alex and company. Yeah, easy to make an awesome worst of list. Bloody Axe Wound is a weird movie. So, the premise is there's a guy who's like Jason and Michael Myers. And he lives in this town, and his job is to murder people. And he's been doing that, and they've been filming it in this town for, I don't know, 30 years. And he has a daughter who's following in her father's footsteps as a serial killer. And she wants to start killing more people for the family business of killing people and putting it on film, because apparently nobody believes that the murders are real and that it's all part of a movie. And then she starts to try to take over the family business and then realizes she doesn't like killing people. I mean, it just sounds so stupid. It sounds so meta and stupid. Let me put that on the bad list. I mean, it's just dumb. Alex Ogle. What's the feeling on Nosferatu since I only just joined? Drinkers seem to recommend it, but I am wary of horrors, particularly ones like that. Well, I did a whole review of it. I didn't like it. I did like the cinematography. I didn't like the script, but you'd have to see my whole video to get the gist of it. The girlfriend did like it though. She liked it. She liked the love story. The love story was okay. I just didn't like the script. It is visually nice, but the script doesn't live up to that. One of the things everybody touted was William Dafoe, and I just thought he was okay-ish. I didn't think he was good. JC, I like the title. Yeah, so do I. But it's not a serious movie. It's some kind of send-up of, I don't know, Friday the 13th. It almost feels like a woke slasher movie. JC, woke, meta-forced, tweed, corny, and lame when the title suggests it's super hardcore. Yeah, it's odd. I don't know why. I don't know who this is made for, other than people who really, really, who watch so many slasher movies. They're just, sick of them, and that they would want to watch this only because it's a slasher movie, but it's very, very different. Indie Phantom, Drinker also recommends Wicked. He is not to be trusted. His recommendation of Wicked wasn't that hard. It was sort of like, well, this is a good movie. It's a well-made movie. I mean, looking at it from the trailer, I just like, well, you really got to do some work to sell a musical to me. But yeah, I was kind of surprised, and who recommended Nosferatu was Razor Fist, and I'm a little surprised, but people like what they like. Alex Ogle, although Razor Fist didn't recommend Wicked, just to be clear. Alex Ogle, Bloody Axe Wound would be the title if they did a modern remake of Carrie. It would turn the period in the shower scene into a comedy. Yeah, and this is what this kind of is. It's kind of, but like, it's not a good send-up. Like, if you're gonna do a send-up and you're gonna do a comedy horror, like, step on the gas. You got to go big on comedy. JC, people who like slasher films and takes gender hormones. Yeah, maybe. I mean, because it's like girl bossing Jason from Friday the 13th, right? It's like Jason had a daughter, and Jason's daughter's like, Dad, you don't understand how to kill people. You're being racist by only killing the women. Or something like that. You're being misogynist by only killing the women. So, it's a very odd movie. And doesn't really land for me. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, that's that Iranian flick. It's also Oscar bait. 36,000. Nickel Boys. I don't understand this movie. I think it's a slice of life POV kind of thing. 32K. Indie Phantom, is anything more overdone than the Hollywood vampiric love story? Well, a few years ago, I would have said the YA books being translated into, all the Hunger Games stuff being translated onto the screen. But, I think the spy genre is taking a beating. There's like way too many of those movies. The John Wick Hitman thing, I would say they're probably in the running to overcome that. But if you're talking since the beginning of cinema, yeah, you're probably right. JC, blood axe wound is what the target audience crotch after the reassignment surgery. Damn, JC. Take it easy. Alex Ogle, in British slang, the axe wound is a term for lady parts. Oh. Now it makes more sense. Indie Phantom, Twilight, and its sequels. Yeah. The Wild Robot, still in theaters, $30K. September 5th, which is basically another version of Munich, $22K. Better Man, $18,000. Oh, this is that Rob Williams movie where he's a monkey for some reason. The Count of Monte Cristo in its second week. It's only in 4 theaters, $17,500. Vermiglio, no idea what this is. Sounds like a foreign film. This single portrait of a sprawling family set in a small mountainous village of Vermiglio during the waning days of World War II, following a series of dramatic and consequential events after the arrival of a taciturn Sicilian soldier who hides out in the town after deserting the army. While there, the soldier develops a romance with the family's eldest daughter, Lucia. It doesn't sound bad. Sounds like very much a foreign movie. JC, I go hard, like a movie called Bloody Axe Wound should go. Nice. Let's see. Bunch of new movies. Why would you release all these movies Christmas weekend? You people are nuts. 2073. This movie doesn't stand a chance because this looks like a total preachy climate change movie right here. Set in the year 2073, the worst fears of modern life have been realized. Surveillance drones fill the burnt orange skies, and militarized police roam the wrecked streets while survivors hide away underground, struggling to remember a free and hopeful existence. Alex Ogle, foreign chick flick, Vermiglio. Yes. And finally, Santosh. $5,000, $5,100. This looks like an Indian production. I'm gonna guess it looks like a female Indian soldier or police. I'm not sure the deal with law enforcement in India. The police and law enforcement may be one and the same. In some countries, it's like that. So yeah, the box office this week, 162 million. Not bad. Not bad at all. So that's the this is the last weekend of the year, right? Yeah, it's 28th. Last weekend of the year. Next week will be January numbers. Alex, I think there is some irony to having a film title and the year it was made, jarring 2073, 2024. They couldn't even call it 2074. Yeah, well, maybe they made it in 2023 and intended, But yeah, I get what you're saying. They probably should have been thinking ahead. And actually, I would argue too, you should probably call it 2078. You can make it any year you want. Who the hell cares? But I would, unless there's some, I don't know, maybe there's something that happens in 50 years that they needed for the film, but I would have went 2078 just to get the numbers different. You're right, it's a little too close. Zebek's Demise is here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Zebek's Demise. JC, listen, Al Gore, I like it being warm in December. I don't care about your precious polar bears. Why don't you go have a good cry and a showing of Bloody Axe Wound? You'll have the whole place to yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I can't knock the warm weather. It's beautiful out. Oh, so nice to be outside in my jacket. Nice light windbreaker that they didn't even need. T-shirt, totally comfortable. Indie Phantom, anything actually opening next week? Heading into studio dumpster time. I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, I mean, whatever opens next week. You know what? What's opening on Valentine's Day is Captain America 4. But that's talk about your dumpster fire. I can't wait for that to come out. Man, that looks bad. And they are really trying to fix that movie. I don't think you can. I don't think you can fix that movie, but nothing off the top of my head, but we're going to get into the countdown now. All right, here's how we're going to play the game. I'm going to go through every movie that was made in 2024. I'm just going to rattle off all the titles. So feel free to write things down if you want to make your own list. And we'll see, what got made this year. And then I got a few other lists, and we could see what some of the critics picked and whatnot. So strap in. Here we go. All right, first, this is from Wikipedia. They're usually pretty good with this kind of stuff, by the way. Because there's no reason to lie, necessarily. Although, they might be inflating some of the numbers a little bit for Disney. I don't know. But the top grossing movies in 2024, number one was Inside Out, of course. This is all domestic gross, by the way. This is just the United States. Just the United States. Number one was Inside Out at $652 million. Close behind, though, was Deadpool and Wolverine at $636 million. Again, it's just domestic. But those are both pretty good. Number three, JC. How can I let my girlfriend know I hate her? I know. I'll take her to Captain America Global Homo Agenda for Valentine's. Yeah, I know. That is not a good date movie, I would predict. So Wicked is number three? Really? Highest grossing movie, huh? Oh, domestically. This might even become number one because it's still in theaters. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it'll catch Deadpool and Wolverine. Number four is Moana 2. Crazy. Now that could catch Wicked, but seems unlikely. They're both only apart by 30 million. Wicked's at 424. Again, this is all domestic, and Moana is at 394. Number five is Despicable Me 4 at 361 million. Number six, and this is a surprise to me, Beetlejuice at 294 million. That's crazy. I did not think that movie did that well, but we're probably going to get another one. And we really should get a third one. I hope the third one's worth. I mean, the second one didn't look worth watching to me. I watched, a few minutes of it, and I started to get bored of it. Number seven, Dune Part 2, 282 million. How is Dune Part 2 on this list and not Dune Part 1? That's weird, right? Number eight is Twisters, plural. Surprised that's on the list too. 267 million. Also from Universal Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers with 4 wins on this. Godzilla versus Kong, or Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, 196 million. So Warner Brothers has got 4 in the top 10. Disney's got 3, and Universal's has 4 technically, or 3.5 and 3.5 with Warner Brothers. And then number 10 is Kung Fu Panda 4, 193 million. Crazy. All right, so those were the top box office domestically. Now we're gonna get in to all the movies. All right, we'll go a month at a time. So in January of 2024, The Mummy Murders. I have no idea. Self-Reliance, Dark Game, Night Swim. I think that was the one with the haunted built-in swimming pool, if I'm not mistaken. Ardent. My picks for the best are going to be extremely limited. I barely saw any of these. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm picking a lot of these based on the trailers I saw. JC. So 9 out of 10 of the top movies are sequels. Like 4 of those are in the 4th in the series. Yeah. Yeah, if the numbers are to even be believed. Ardent, was The Beekeeper this year? Yes, it was. So in January, Night Swim, I think was that horror movie about the built-in swimming pool. That got some buzz. He went that way. The Painter, The Bricklayer, Some Other Woman, Fugitive Dreams, Husband for Sale. There's The Beekeeper right there. There it is. January 12th that opened. Mean Girls, the musical. See, that movie, I think, bombed. Which is weird, right? Because Wicked did so well, but Mean Girls, the musical, bombed. My girlfriend just texted me, do not think we're going to see Captain America on Valentine's Day. Don't worry, hon. I got you covered on that. The Book of Clarence. Oh, God, that looked horrific. JC, best movie of the year was Megalopolis. You should review it, Tony. I'm going to review it. I'm not going to pay for it, but I will review it. Lift, Role Play, The Night They Came Home, Ardent, LOL, That a Girl, Destroy All Neighbors. Whoa, I like that title. I didn't see that. Hellhound, Wanted Man, ISS, as the International Space Station movie. I remember that trailer. That looked okay. Sunrise, Which Brings Me to You, Cult Killer, Founders Day, Murder and Cocktails, Beautiful Wedding, Miller's Girl, The Underdogs, 2Gs. Oh, that was the Bad News Bears movies with Snoop Dogg, I think. Sometimes I Think About Dying, America's Star, Cold Copy, Junction, Hundreds of Beavers, There Is a Monster. I'm going to put Hundreds of Beavers in the good categories because I've heard nothing but great things about it. Even though I haven't seen it, it looks cool as hell. So I'm going to put that on my good list. All right, so that was January. Now we're getting into February. Argyle. I'm going to put Argyle on my bad list because I hear this is just like an unwatchable piece of crap. But I don't know. I didn't see it. So I'm mostly guessing on many of these. Orion and the Dark. Whoops. The Tiger's Apprentice, Suncoast. This is, again, all February. Ardent. I hear so much mix about Argyle. I'm still debating watching it. Scrambled, Bosco, Somewhere Quiet, The Monk and the Gun, A Nashville Wish, Lisa Frankenstein. I'm going to put that on my bad list because I can't stand Diablo Cody. Although I kind of like the title, and I think it could have been good, but I'm going to assume Diablo Cody used it to, I don't know, lecture to the audience. Indie Phantom, Hundreds of Beavers. Ardent at Indie Phantom, LOL, A Natural Assumption. Indie Phantom, it's nice, so many flicks I have passed on. Oh, there's just so many. You can never see them all. Upgraded, Air Force One Down, Lola, Marmalade, Elementory. Weird. Indie Phantom, Ardent, it has to be, right? Ardent, still mad at myself for watching Madam Web. Oh, we're getting to that. That was this year. JC, I literally saw 2 new movies, Trap and Megalopolis. Both were bad. One was watchable and one wasn't. I'll let you guess which one was which. I assume Trap was very watchable. It looked good. I liked the trailer for Trap a lot, but then I heard the reviews of it and I was just like, eh. Bob Marley, One Love. Madam Web, there it is. Madam Web, I'll put that on my list of bad movies. Players. What About Love? Adam the First. Stranger in the Woods. This Is Me, Now a Love Story. Land of the Bad. Vaguely remember that. Indie Phantom, Trap was crazy mid. Bleeding Love, Lights Out, No Way Up, Altered Reality, Lovely, Dark, and Deep, Drive Away Dolls. That was another one that had a good trailer. JC, Trap is super corny, but it's fun, keeps moving, doesn't drag. Well, yeah, if you're not going to make a good movie, at least make it quick. Ordinary Angels, Mea Culpa, Drugstore June, Parallel, Red Right Hand, Blue Christmas, The Neon Highway. Okay, so that was February. Now we're going into March. Dune Part 2. I'll tentatively put that on my good list, even though I haven't seen it. I mean, it looked fine. Heard good things. Let's see. Spaceman, Problemista. I ought to put that on my bad list. I'm so sick of hearing about this movie. You want to talk about a movie that got propped the F up. This came back into the theaters, I think, 2 or 3 times. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. I don't even remember that, but I guess it came out. Outlaw Posse, Asleep in My Palm. Rick Stenicki. This didn't look awful, except that John Cena was in it. But it was one of the Fairley brothers. The Thunderman's Return, Kung Fu Panda 4. I like the first Kung Fu Panda, but Jesus. Imaginary, Damsel. Oh, that looked bad. That looked really bad. That was Millie Bobby Brown in sort of the reverse damsel in distress thing. Ardent. I'd almost watch Red Right Hand because based on my love for the Nick Cave song. Love Lies Bleeding. That looked bad. That was the Kristen Stewart as a lesbian movie. It looked bad. Cabrini. That one looked kind of cool. That was this. She's not a nun. She's the other kind of nun, like the sisters. Like they have 2 different versions of the Catholic Church. They have the nuns, and then they have like sisters or something. But anyhow, she built a lot of hospitals. I hear good things. I'll put Cabrini on there, the good list. At least, you know, if I got nothing else. Accidental Texan, American Dreamer, Night Shift. That was that. Oh no, that's a different movie. I thought that was what's his face, Jamie Foxx, but looks like it's a different cast. Glitter and Doom, The Primevals, Little Wing, Arthur the King. That was Marky Mark. The American Society of Magical, and this is the title of the film, Negroes. Okay, and that is number 1. That is number 1 for me. The American Society of Magical Negroes. Okay. That is the dumbest effing movie of all time. That should be on the bad list of all movies. It's dumb. Dumb to make it. JC. Kristen Stewart lesbian movie? So the Kristen Stewart movie? No, but this was like, you know, if there was a crayon for lesbian movies, this would be dark lesbian movie because there was a lot of lesbian stuff in it, I think. It looked that way from the trailer anyway. Ardent, I want to give American Society of Magical Negroes things at least an honorable mention for brave titling. Wait, number 1 bad? LOL. I mean, it's just every second of the clips I saw, that just looked horrendously bad. Like, why did you make this movie? You know, and then of course, the makers had the audacity to come out and defend the movie like, oh, you know, you must have a problem with black people if you don't like it kind of attitude. I don't like that at all. Shirley, Irish Wish, One Life, Knox Goes Away, Snack Shack. That one looked pretty good. I didn't see it, but it looked good. Prey, that was that, I think it was that Predator movie with the Indians. Bar de Jove, Roadhouse. That one might have to be on the bad list. Because, man, that looked incomprehensible. And I've heard the stories of Roadhouse. Ardent Prey, was that the Girl Boss versus Predator movie? I didn't realize Mina Servari was in that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. Unless they made another Prey movie. Oh, maybe they made a different movie called Prey. That doesn't look like the same movie. Oops. Nah, that looks like a different movie. Never mind. Never mind. Different movie, Ardent. Sorry. JC deserves to be on the list just based on the title. Light skinned mixed race man writes a movie with Negro in the title and has the romantic subplot with a white woman. Literally a movie for no one. I know. It was an anti movie in a lot of respects. You know, when I was a kid, they were still showing Disney's Song of the South on television. And, you know, that movie has slaves in it, but it's not particularly harsh to watch the movie. You know, it's not, but like the Society of Magical Negroes, it's just, what are you doing? Ardent, nope, religious movie. Oh, it's religious. Indie Phantom, so many bombs, it's like World War II up in here. Ha! Yeah, Roadhouse. I'll put Roadhouse on the bad list. My bad list is already filling up here. Because this movie had such bad buzz and such, I mean, just bad. Ardent, Disney Swamp Fox is still on YouTube. JC, oh, remember the tennis movie that pushed polyamory? We're getting to that. Challengers, I know. There's one for the worst movie. Absolutely. Early Bird, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If I had to pick a list of mid movies, I'd probably pick that. That looked very mid. Ardent at JC, the one with Zendaya, bingo. Immaculate. Late Night with the Devil. I heard pretty good things about this movie. I'm tentatively putting it on the good list. Late Night with the Devil. I still kind of want to see it. I got to catch it on streaming at some point. Sleeping Dogs. The Casa Grande's movie. Peter 5'8". Oh, that was a Kevin Spacey movie. Now I remember this. All right. So Kevin Spacey and Rebecca De Mornay is in it. And this is post Kevin Spacey's troubles. And he plays like a hitman or he's not really a hitman, but he's a guy who works for a guy who wants to destroy the life of, I think, Rebecca De Mornay or somebody else. And it's so insane. He ends up going there. I think he dates Rebecca De Mornay, and then at some point in the movie he just shoots a bunch of people for. It looks that way. Again, I didn't see it, but I read about it and saw some of the clips, and it did make much sense to me. Indie Phantom, those new Ghostbusters just look lame to justify. Yeah, it's not that they. I skipped one. Disney will eventually remake Song of the South when they are desperate and climate change freezes hell over. Yeah, the new Ghostbusters just, I mean, it doesn't look like it would be like if it was the 90s and you released the Ghostbusters sequels, I think people would agree that they were terrible because they would look at the other movies from the 90s and say, that's the best you could do. But in this environment, it rises to mid simply because this is the environment we're in. We're in an environment where you can't do any comedy. You can't really do comedy, so they soft pedal the comedy and it kills it. Ardent, Sleeping Dogs looks to have a pretty solid cast. Yes, but Russell Crowe's been in a lot of crap movies recently. Indie Phantom, I saw Peter 5'8". Weird, cringe, and just nuts. It looked nuts. Riddle of Fire, Free Time, Easter Bloody Easter, Godzilla times Kong, The New Empire. I heard good things about that, but I don't know. It looked weird. Asphalt City, The Listener, and Lousy Carter. JC, Kevin Spacey spent a lot of time with the guys he hired to, according to JEC YouTube, delete his accusers. Seemingly, seemed like a really interesting guys. Thought they'd make a good movie. He was mistaken. That's weird. Indie Phantom, Late Night with the Devil is on my most overrated list. Great concept, mid execution. Oh, really? That's sad to hear. Ardent, Godzilla -1 this year? That is probably my number one good one this year. I believe it is. But that doesn't come for a few months at least. So, yes, hang on to that. I will totally put that in my top number one. JC, don't put lousy in your title. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. All right, now we're going to April to June. So, Musica, The First Omen. Oh, that I almost want to put that on my bad list. It's just a dumb idea to make another Omen movie. The Monkey Man, or Monkey Man. Don't remember that. Oh, wait. This was Dev Patel as John Wick. This was the Indian John Wick. And then there's a whole subplot where he's saving the transgender characters in the movie. I'm going to put that on my list. It looked terrible. Monkey Man. The Greatest Hits. Parachute. Strictly Confidential. A Bit of Light. The People's Joker. Oh, that movie. That shouldn't even be on this list. Shouldn't be on any list. Indie Phantom. Monkey Man Woke. Ardent. Monkey Man was Dev Patel's trash fire. The People's Joker was almost like a parody of the Joker, first Joker movie. But it was also, I think it had a bunch of trans characters in it. But I wouldn't even consider it a movie at this point. But whatever. They tried to push this for a bunch of awards. It's very strange. And I think they got sued over using the Joker. Housekeeper for Beginners. I mean, it's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Everything's just my opinion, by the way. Keep saying. Model House Civil War. This is another one I think I may put on the bad list. Looked terrible. Just looks stupid. I don't know, but it did have one redeeming quality. That really funny meme. What kind of American are you? So I'll for the meme I'll let it go. Rebel Moon. Oh, I'm putting Rebel Moon on there. Yeah, that's on my bad list. This is Zack Snyder's attempt at, like, I don't know, Star Wars and Star Trek and Lord of the Rings all in one big giant 2-part movie. JC, probably a better Joker sequel than we got. I don't know, man. It looks horrendous. Ardent, oh gods, Rebel Moon. I still need to rewatch for the, they ripped that off from the X game. Damaged, The Absence of Eden, Sasquatch Sunset, Indie Phantom, Civil War in my bottom 5, and I did watch it. All right, you know what? Well, I'm going to leave it off for the meme. My list is already filling up. Ardent, All That and Firefly and Stargate, and it was trash. Jesus. Sasquatch Sunset, that was the Bigfoot movie by Jesse Eisenberg, I think, produced it or is in it too. Sweet Dreams, Woody Woodpecker Goes to Camp. You did a whole movie? Leroy, Texas, The Long Game, Arcadian, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, remake. I believe that's with an all-black cast. I don't know why you would remake that movie. Ardent, recommendation for an odd but fun movie, The Man Who Killed Bigfoot and Hitler. Okay. Sting. That's a spider movie. It looked okay. Abigail. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Another movie that had a decent looking trailer. It could have been good, but the buzz on it was not good. Indie Phantom. Hell of a year. We grown now. Blood for Dust, Stress Positions, Hard Miles, Hanky Panky, Downtown Owl, Challengers. There it is. That's the Zendaya movie where she gets double teamed. So I'm putting Challengers on there, on my bad list. Because who the hell wants to see a movie where Zendaya gets double teamed? I mean, what a... Ardent, Ministry was pretty bad. I heard nothing but bad things about it. Boy Kills World. I reviewed this movie and got a strike on YouTube and got kicked off the channel for like a week or two because I guess the trailer dropped too early. And they flagged me, and I didn't even play a clip. I just do what I always do. I click through the stills, and they still flagged me. Ardent, Zendaya, the object of multiple men's attraction, so it's sci-fi? Yeah, obviously. Unsung Hero, Breathe, Humane, the feeling that the time for doing something has passed, Cash Out, and Bloodline Killer. Okay, I believe that was all of April. Now we're into May. The Idea of You, Turtles All the Way Down, The Fall Guy. This was sort of a controversial movie in that there is a contingent of people who really like this movie, and I was a huge fan of the TV show that this is based on. They did have the original Fall Guy, Lee Majors, in it, and I kind of still want to see it, but I still haven't gotten around to it. Oh, Sam Rogers is here. Hi, Sam. Hello, everyone, he says. Arden says hello. How is ya? Tarot, I heard that was good. Unfrosted, I saw Unfrosted. Surprise, surprise, I saw a movie. I liked it. I'll put it tentatively at the bottom of my good list. I didn't think it was that good, but it was funny. It was the only movie I've ever seen Amy Schumer in that was actually kind of funny. Ardent, still haven't seen either Fall Guy or Roadhouse. Sam says life is good. Good to hear. Unfrosted, that's a recommendation from me. I mean, if you like comedies, I love comedies, and I sort of get Jerry's sense of humor. Ardent, Seinfeld directed comedy? Nice, might see that. I mean, it's based on his stand-up about Pop-Tarts, if you've ever seen that. Ardent, oops, never mind. Schumer makes me yak. She's actually kind of funny at it. She's sort of the bad guy. JC, Zendaya able to arouse a man well enough to engage in coitus? It's a bloody horror movie? I mean, two guys at once. Ardent, at JC, right? I saw the TV Glow. This is kind of like a trans allegory movie, and Martin Scorsese gave it a recommendation, which I thought was very strange, because it was just sort of out there. Didn't seem like a lot of people were seeing it, and then Martin Scorsese out of nowhere like praised the movie. JC, bloody horror. Wildcat, Prom Dates, Chief of Station, New Life, Lost Souls with a Z, Mother of the Bride, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's a movie everybody loves. If I was going to pick most popular, how is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes not on that list of domestic hits? There's no way that movie didn't crack 300 million. Domestically, it must have. 171, no? JC, Body, Not Bloody. Oh, body horror. Sorry. Body horror. All right, where was I? Boom. I guess it didn't make that much. Pool Man. Oh, that was that Chris Pine movie. I won't put it on my bad list only because Chris Pine, I think, genuinely tried to make a comedy, but it didn't work. Everybody said it was terrible, but I didn't see it. He seemed genuinely interested in pushing it, but he directed, wrote it, and starred in it, so you could understand. Not Another Church Movie. That was also an attempted comedy. Didn't seem to go well. The Last Stop in Yuma County. Did I see this movie? Sounds very familiar. I think I did see this movie. No. Something very similar to something I saw though. JC, bloody axe wound is my self-inflicted head wound I gave myself after learning Zendaya is a real girl and not some Slavic folk story to scare children. JC does go hard. The Image of You, Gasoline Rainbow. I like that title. Argo Drift with a 1 for the I. If, that was the Ryan Reynolds movie where, I don't know, he plays a guy who does he's in charge of the imaginary friends. The Strangers, Chapter 1. Back to Black. Thelma the Unicorn. Babes. You Can't Run Forever. The American. Darkness of Man. Dead Wrong. The Garfield movie. That kind of came and went. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Did not do as well as they expected it to. Atlas. Oh, that movie looked terrible. That was a Jennifer Lopez mech movie. I'm tempted to put it on my list. Ardent, Imaginary Friends. Yep. Hitman. I heard good things about that. That was Glenn Powell. Sight, The Keeper. Legend of Cat Claws Mountain. Young Woman in the Sea. Ezra. Summer Camp. The Young Wife. The Great Lillian Hall. Shadowland. Backspot. What You Wish For. Protocol 7. Deer Camp 86. JC, Furiosa should be on the mid list. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I didn't see it. Some people like it. Going into June, Boneyard, Am I Okay? Bad Boys Ride or Die. I think I would probably like that movie if I saw it, but I didn't see it. It looks fine. The Watchers, Tuesday, Longing, Late Bloomers, Trim Season, Life After Fighting, Killer of Men, Inside Out 2, Ultraman Rising, Reverse the Curse, The Present, Ghost Light, Fresh Kills, Ride, Latency, The Bike Riders. That's another movie that it was expected to do well, didn't seem to do well. Kinds of Kindness. I didn't like the looks of that movie at all. That was the same people who did the feminist Frankenstein movie. The Exorcism, Fancy Dance, Trigger Warning, Janet Planet, Blackwater Lane, Thelma, Chestnut, Agent Recon, A Quiet Place, Day One, Horizon, An America's Saga, A Family Affair, Reunion, Daddy-O, A Sacrifice, June Zero, Midas, and Family Portrait. All right. So that's June. So we're going into the summer. Now this should be peak movie. Little Deaths, Despicable Me 4, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, The Secret Art of Human Flight, Sound of Hope, The Story of Possum Trot, Space Cadet, Maxine XXS. I saw that. It was pretty good. I liked it. It was all right. I don't know if I'd put it on best or worst. I like the idea of it better than I like the actual movie, but it was all right. Mother Couch, Murder Company, The Real Bros of Simi Valley High School Reunion, Dead Whisper, Exposure, Angels Fallen, Warriors of Peace, Divorce in the Black, Fly Me to the Moon. Oh, I heard that was bad. Long Legs. Oh, that'll be on my worst list. There we go. I saw Long Legs. That sucked. Ardent, Snickers at Trim. Yes. Yes, I do. Sing Sing, Dandelion, Touch, The Inheritance, National Anthem, Because We're Family, My Spy, The Eternal City, Twisters, Find Me Falling, Clear Cut, Widow's Quat, Clawfoot, The Abandoned, Oddity, Spread, Lumina, The Good Half, Deadpool, and Wolverine. I really like that movie. I'm going to put it on my good list. I thought it was funny. The Fabulous Four, Mother's Instinct, Dee Dee, The Girl in the Pool, Dead Sea, and The Duel. And now I need a drink. Okay. Moving on to August. Ardent, yeah, DP Wolverine was fun. Trap, Harold and the Purple Crayon, The Instigators, Saving Bikini Body, the Sandy Cheeks movie, The Firing Squad, Detained, Peak Season, AMFAD, All My Friends Are Dead, Trust in Love, One Fast Move, It Ends With Us, Borderlands. Well, that might have to go on the bad list. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'll put it on there. Just a totally miscast movie. Stop putting Jamie Lee Curtis in this crap. She doesn't belong in these movies. Cuckoo, Girl, You Know It's True, Good One, Duchess, Watchmen Chapter 1? Oh, that was animated. Jackpot, Alien Romulus, The Union, The Deliverance, Rob Peace, Skincare, Gunner, Crescent City, Indie Phantom, Borderlands is year's worst. Ardent, Watchmen, was that a movie? It was an animated movie. They did like an adaptation of the Watchmen. They did part 1 and then part 2. It's no, it's the adaptation, but it's a cartoon. Crescent City, Ryan's World, the movie, Titan Universe Adventures, Mountain, The Cleanup Crew, Stream, Blink Twice, The Crow. Might have to put The Crow on the worst one too. I hear nothing but bad stuff about that. I heard that's like unwatchable. It's so bad. The Killer, that was decent. I saw that one, I think. Or is that a different The Killer? Nope, that's a different The Killer. Ardent, might check it out. Warner does okay animation superhero stuff. It might be okay. I haven't heard bad things about it. The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, Greedy People, Between the Temples, The Forge Incoming, Strange Darling. That looked good. That got a lot of good buzz, and I wanted to see it. I got to remember next time I catch it on streaming. Catching Dust, Summer of Violence, The Becomers, Place of Bones, The Exorcism of St. Patrick, Afraid, 1992, Slingshot, The Wasp, Reagan, First Shift, You Gotta Believe, City of Dreams, Tokyo Cowboy. Ardent, John Woo, sounds like a Guns movie. Is he back to the Hong Kong action thriller style? No, it's actually a remake of the original The Killer with a different cast. It didn't look good. I guess he remade his own movie. I'm not sure. Indie Phantom, that Killer is John Woo's wokeified remake of his own film. Yeah, it's a shame he did that. Let's see, July. We did June, July. I think we're in September. Wolves Against the World, Beetlejuice, The Front Room, His Three Daughters, Rebel Ridge, Continue, A New York Story, The Thicket, I'll Be Right There, Dead Teenagers, Speak No Evil, The Killer's Game, My Old Ass, Uglies, Winner, Hereafter, The 4:30 movie. That actually looked like a decent Kevin Smith film. Subservience, Booger, The Waterboys with a Z, Transformers 1, that looked terrible. Wolves, Never Let Go, The Substance. I saw The Substance, it's pretty good. I don't know. I need a good movie, so I'll put it on the list. It wasn't bad. I like Demi Moore in it. A Different Man, Bagman, Omniloop, The Featherweight, In the Summers, Kill 'Em All 2, The Paradox Effect, Killer Heat, The Wild Robot, Saturday Night. That's a movie I should have liked. Megalopolis. Man, I heard terrible things about this. I might have to put this on the bad list. Boy. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put Megalopolis on the bad list. At least for an honorable mention. Lopolis. Hard to spell that. Do, 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 do. Ardent. Oh, for F's sake. Yeah, exactly. Regarding the Killer remake. Apartment 7A. Resball. I remember that trailer. The Curse of the Necklace. Azrael. Amber Alert. Abruptio. And She Taught Love. Ardent. That's one hell of a cast for Megalopolis. I know, but talk to JEC about it. I mean, apparently it's almost unwatchable. Or is unwatchable. Indie Phantom, Megalopolis is another of my bottom 5. Yeah, everyone who's seen it hated it, and I'm appalled that Coppola could fall so low. Did his daughter help make that movie? Okay, October, another happy day. Krakoon, it's a weird name. Salem's Lot. I'd almost put that on the bad list because the original one's so good. That can't be any good. House of Spoils, Hold Your Breath. Joker 2, Fleur du. Oh, I'm putting that on the bad list. Yeah, let me put that right there. Let's see. JC, you should watch it and see it for yourself, Tony. I swear to you, I will watch it. Just as soon as it comes, I'm not paying for it, but as soon as it hits streaming, I'll stream it and review it. Ardent, LOL, I'll wait until I can find it for free. Betcha I end up loving it just to be a weirdo. Ardent, Krakoon, is that the sequel to Cocaine Bear? No. Ardent, Joker 2 is on everyone's bad list. Yep. White Bird, It's What's Inside, Monster Summer, Things Will Be Different, The Forest Hills. The Problem with People, Little Bites, Hellboy the Crooked Man. Oh, I'll put that on my good list. That's a good movie. Hellboy I'll just put Seaman. I think I know what it means. That's a good movie. Brothers, Caddo Lake, Terrifier 3. Everybody loves those movies. I don't know why. Piece by Piece, The Apprentice. Oh, that's a Trump movie. Lonely Planet, The Silent Hour, Bad Genius, Seven Cemeteries, The Man with the White Van. Ardent, Crooked Man was good. Nine Windows, Smile 2. That's another one that might be on your good list. I didn't see it, but it looks good. I hear the Smile movies are good. Honora, another one that might be on your good list. I don't think anybody here watched it. Vax Electronica dissed it, though, says Ardent. Of Hellboy, really? I thought it was good. Goodrich, Woman of the Hour, The Line, Exhibiting Forgiveness, High Tide, To Fall in Love, Canary Black, Venom the Last Dance. JC, Megalopolis is on Prime. Yeah, but you got to pay for it. If you don't have to pay for it, I'll review it very soon. Conclave, that might be on your worst list. Your Monster, Don't Move, Magpie, La Cocina, Darla in Space, All You Need Is Blood, 1 Million Followers, Hangdog, Let's Start a Cult, Amityville, Where the Echo Lives, and Time Cut. I need another drink. Next month, I believe we're in November. Here. This probably should be on everybody's crap list, too. I don't know. Ardent at JC. Oof, I have Prime, damn it. All right, I'm going to put Here on the list as well. I'm running out of room. It deserves at least an honorable mention in the bad list. Juror number 2, I saw it. It has great moments. Ultimately, I don't like it as a movie. But it definitely shouldn't be on either list. Blitz, A Real Pain, Absolution, The Gutter, The Graduates, The Eye of the Salamander, Lost on Mountain in Maine, Meet Me Next Christmas, A Sudden Case of Christmas, Heretic, Indie Phantom. Terrifier 3 was the weakest one, in my opinion. Good character, but his funny moments are much better than his horror bits. He is getting tiresome, though. Ardent, I am not paying $20 to watch Megalopolis. Yeah, neither am I. I'm going to wait till it comes down to under 5. Indie Phantom. Timeout was god-awful Netflix stripe. Heretic was that Hugh Grant slasher movie or whatever it was. The best Christmas pageant ever. The Piano Lesson, Elevation, Christmas Eve and Miller's Point, Bird, Love Bomb, It's Coming, Hot Frosty. I almost want to put that, I don't know if to put that on my best or worst movie. That sounds like a movie that'd be hilarious to watch ironically and make fun of, and that I would laugh like hell at it. But it looks terrible. Indie Phantom, Heretic was decent, but loses it as it goes along. Red One. Now here's an interesting thing about Red One. People kind of panned it when it first came out, but I keep hearing good reviews of it from people I kind of respect their opinions. So I may watch this movie. I don't know. Daruma, Breakup Season, Swap, The Merry Gentleman, Wicked, Gladiator 2, Spellbound, Armor. That's the Sylvester Stallone is the bad guy movie. Out of My Mind, Bonhoeffer, The Fix, Dear Santa, which is the Jack Black movie where the kid writes Dear Satan instead of Dear Santa, and Satan becomes his friend. But it's written by one of the Farley brothers who directs it. Indie Phantom, Hot Frosty is another Canadian Hallmarky thing. Yeah, it looks like hilariously bad. Ardent, what's worse, a movie that starts strong and peters out, or one that's slow to build to a strong finish? Strong finish, always. Watchmen Chapter 2. So this is the second half of the same Watchmen adaptation. Hemet, or The Landlady Don't Drink Tea. Okay. A Great Divide, Moana 2, Queer, Maria, Our Little Secret, Sweethearts, and Nutcrackers. All right. Getting into the last month, December. Ardent. Slow build to the point. It's a slog to get to the end. Well, I mean, the ending has to justify all that slog. So, this is December. Y2K, which had an excellent trailer, even though Rachel Zegler's in it. Night Bitch, that looks terrible. 6888 also looks terrible. The Order of Werewolves, that looks watchable. The Return also looks watchable. Oh, Canada, Mary, Jenny, Craven the Hunter looks terrible. Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim looks terrible. Carry On, I watched about 15 minutes. I got bored. September 5th, Nickel Boys, The Last Showgirl, Dirty Angels, Filthy Animals, The Activated Man. Ardent, Night Bitch, number 1. You saw it? LOL. The Activated Man, Little Mermaid, Glue Trap, Mufasa, The Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, The Brutalist, Homestead, Nosferatu, A Complete Unknown, Fire Inside, or The Fire Inside, Better Man, Baby Girl, Los Freakus, and Bloody Axe Wound. It's the last movie to come out of the year. I would be halfway tempted to throw that on my bad list. Okay, did I even get to 10 movies on the good list? Indie Phantom, Y2K was fun enough. Zegler should keep her mouth shut because she was cute in it. Yeah, it looked good to me. I might see that. JEC, Night Bitch, another movie where the title is the best part. From JEC. From Ardent, oh, good God. No, I wouldn't do that to myself without taking a bottle of pills and chugging lead afterwards. All right, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the good list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the bad list. So, all right. So my bad movies in no particular order were The American Society of Magical Negroes, Argyle, Lisa Frankenstein, Madam Web, Joker 2, Roadhouse, Monkey Man, Rebel Moon, Challengers, Long Legs, Borderland, The Crow, Megalopolis, and Here. On the good list, Dune 2, again, not in any particular order, Deadpool and Wolverine, probably the best. That's probably the best one for me of the ones I saw. Hellboy, The Crooked Man, Hundreds of Beavers, I still got to see that, Cabrini, Late Night with the Devil, The Substance, and Unfrosted. Unfrosted, I'd probably put it like 5. or at least 3, something like that. So Ardent, I have 6 total. If you guys want to give me your top worst movie. What's your worst movie of the year? Because we don't have time to go through everybody's list, but give me your worst movie of the year. And I'm going to start to go through some of the lists on Variety and some of the other places. Indie Phantom. Worst for me, Borderlands, Time Cut, Twisters, Civil War, Megalopolis, and Alien Romulus. Ooh, surprise. Like, Alien Romulus to me just looks like a remake of Aliens. It's not good, not bad. It's just pointless. But Civil War, that did look bad. Ardent, Madam Web. Was that on my list? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that looked bad. Although it had hot chicks in it. So this is Variety. So this will be a complete ridiculous movie. This is Owen Gleiberman's top 10. Challengers #1. You got to be kidding me, dude. Who is this guy? Is he Zendaya's publicist? That's crazy. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. That's that Iranian movie. A Real Pain. That looks watchable. Inside Out 2. It's probably also watchable. Skywalker's A Love Story. I didn't even see that one on the list. Where the hell did that come from? JC's Bad List. Megalopolis, Challengers, Magical Negroes, Madam Web, Rebel Moon. A Complete Unknown, #6. JC, Owen is a cuck. Complete Unknown. The People's Joker. Oh, come on. Come on. Baby Girl. No, thank you. Ardent. In descending order, Godzilla 1. Deadpool versus Wolverine. Hellboy, Crooked. Beekeeper. Really? The Beekeeper? That's on your good list, I assume. Ministry of Ungentlemanly and Madam Web. Wait, are those your best or worst? I know Madam Web was your worst. Bad Faith, Christian Nationalism's Unholy War on Democracy. This guy is a total cuck, in my opinion. Kinds of Kindness. Jesus. Peter DeBerg's top 10. Inside Out 2. Okay. Seed of the Fig. Okay. The Bike Riders. Wouldn't be my choice, but it's acceptable. Honora. That's acceptable. Dune Part 2. Okay. Different Man. Didn't see that one. Maybe? I think that's the one where they give surgery to the guy with the face and then he becomes a jerk, I think. Something like that. Femme. I didn't see it. I don't know. It's a gay thing. Green Border. Don't know what that is. The Room Next Door. Not sure of that. Count of Monte Cristo. That might be good. Ardent. That's my whole list. Oh, okay. Okay. So everybody give me your top good movie, and we'll check out the best 10 animated movies from 2024. This is from Paste. I don't know what these are, but so in case you want to see some cool animation. Number 10, Mars Express. That does look very cool. I like the look of that. Ardent. Tilda Swinton looking like David Bowie. She always looks like David Bowie, doesn't she? The Wild Robot. It's probably watchable. Inside Out 2. Maboroshi. There you go, weebs. Orion and the Dark. Okay. Chicken for Linda. Never heard of these. Robot Dreams. Oh, come on. Wasn't that the year before? Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Oh, I definitely want to see this one. The new Wallace and Gromit movie looks good. Godzilla -1. Yeah, why wasn't that on the list? When did that come out? When the hell did that come out? 2023, it says here. Maybe it didn't arrive here until 2024, or it was still in theaters in 2024. So yeah, that was a great movie. Look Back, don't know that one, and Flow, maybe. Godzilla -1 February. JC, like last December. Yeah, it came out in 2023, so it must have been still floating around theaters early in the year. Ardent, oh well, balls. I probably just watched it late. All right, looking at the PBS. Oh, this is a hilarious list for the best movies according to these critics. Number 1, Wicked. Wicked, everybody. Number 2, Conclave. Come on, the best movie of the year. The Fall Guy. Look, I love the Fall Guy TV show, and I still kind of want to see this, but even I don't think I can make this argument. Come on. One of the best movies of the year? The Brutalist. This could be true. I haven't seen it. It looks decent enough. Ardent, new rank set. Deadpool Wolverine wins. Yes. Nickel Boys. Maybe. Honora. Maybe. That looked good. Sing Sing. I don't know. It's about a theater program for incarcerated people at Sing Sing prison, based on a true story. Doesn't sound like my kind of movie, but maybe. His Three Daughters. That sounds boring. Piece by Piece. That's the what's the name? It's a Pharrell Williams documentary done with Legos for some reason. No thanks. Girls State. What the hell is this? There was a film a couple of years ago called Boys State, in which is about the Boys State program where high school boys are brought together and they create a mock government where they have elections. This year they did Girls State. It was filmed just as the Supreme Court was considering reproductive rights, and the girls are very focused on that. How different it is for girls to be in a program like that, at least for these girls, is explored. Sounds kind of boring. All right. And that is it for PBS. All right, then Rotten Tomatoes. So this is the best movies to stream at home, according to Rotten Tomatoes. So this isn't quite the same list, but so they got Carry On. Again, I saw it, part of it, and I just turned it off. I rarely do that. Ardent. I may not know good movies, but I know I like sour cream and bacon flavored chips. Ooh, those sound delicious. The second one is Juror Number 2. It's not the, I liked a lot of it, but I didn't like the ending. Gladiator 2. I can see people liking it. It doesn't look great. Red 1. Look at the audience score on Red 1. It's 90%. I think this movie might be pretty damn watchable. The critics hate it, apparently. Honora looks good to me. And I like the actress in it, so I might see that. Small Things Like These. I saw the trailer for this. It looks fine. JC, boys organized trying to figure out how to run a society. The girls just went on about killing their own babies. Just going to leave that there. Heretic. I mean, yeah. The 6888. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. A lot of people seem to like that movie. And Conclave. So these are the best streaming movies, I guess. Oh, here's some more. I'll just go through the rest of this page. So we got The Order. The Substance. It's pretty watchable, The Substance. It's interesting. Ardent, did you see Mel Gibson's Fat Man? I like that. Wonder how it stacks up to the Red One. No, I didn't. That's on my list of things to see. Indie Phantom. Honora's worth it for the lead, and she does a great lap dance. It Ends With Us. I can see that being on there. Oh, come on. The Joker movie? What are you, crazy? The Holdovers. That was from last year. That, I hear, is good. Dear Santa, that looks bad. That Christmas, don't know what that is. Wallace and Gromit, 100% I want to watch that. Indie Phantom, I do want to see Red One. Lots of channels I like are pimping it. Yeah, it seems like it's getting good buzz. A little late, but Joy, Home Alone. Oh, these are old movies. Indie Phantom. Yeah, I need to see Fat Man. All right, I'm just going to skip the rest of this list because they got old movies on here. This is just a streaming list. All right, getting into best movies of 2024 according to the IMDb. Based on, let's see, let's do this by IMDb rating. All right. Indie Phantom, Holdovers is a holdover from last Xmas. Ardent, it's fun and a little touching. So number 1 on the IMDb is Dune Part 2. Then The Wild Robot. Then The Brutalist. Okay. Then Wicked. Fat Man, he means. Fat Man is the one that's a little touching. Then Wicked. Then Anora. Then Nosferatu. I don't fault anybody for liking Nosferatu, by the way. The Count of Monte Cristo, classic. Sing Sing. A Real Pain. That's a movie I would probably enjoy. Ghost Light. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Okay. Young Woman and the Sea. The Substance. Conclave. All We Imagine as Light. That's a Indian movie, I think. Ardent, I've decided not to watch any of the Villeneuve Dune until it's complete. His Three Daughters. Challengers. Oh. People like it. People like Zendaya, I think. The Fall Guy. The Outrun. JC, I saw this funny meme of Mel Gibson talking into a phone with the caption of me phoning my local synagogue to wish them a Merry Christmas. Ardent, LOL. Okay, and then The Gladiator 2. Or Gladiator 2. And that's it. That's it for the list. That's it for the list. So that was the best and worst of 2024. A lot of worst. Not many diamonds in that pile of turds. But it's over. Just about. The year's just about over, so hopefully we'll flush the rest of these movie turds in early 2025 and move on to actually making comedies again and movies that are worth watching. I mean, comedies have always taken it on the chin, but I've never seen like the last 5 years with comedy. It's just, it saddens me to a huge degree. We need comedy back. Indie Phantom, I actually fell asleep during The Fall Guy and missed the cameos by Heather Thomas and Lee Majors. Ardent, what was the biggest bomb of 2024? Well, this is the American Society of Magical Negroes did bomb pretty bad. I don't know if you would say that's the biggest bomb. Madam Web, they spent a ton of money on. That was a pretty big bomb. Let's take a quick look. Biggest movie bomb of 2024. Let's see. Biggest box office movie bombs adjusted for inflation 2024. Oh no, this is all of them. This is like of all time. Here's a list from Screen Crush. Whoa, hey, let's... All right. Let's see. Biggest box office flops of 2024. Do 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 do. JC, it's almost like there was a strike last year and nothing decent got made. Indie Phantom, I think Madam Web or Joker 2 were the biggest bombs. Ardent, Hindustan Times says Joker 2. Indie Phantom, Megalopolis has to be there. The only reason it wouldn't be there is it only cost $100 million. Ardent, John Carter was way better than the box office would say. All right, so biggest box office bomb. Megalopolis. Worldwide box office is 13.7 million. Reported budget 120 million. So that's a pretty big bomb, but it's not the biggest. Next up, number 4, Saturday Night. 99.7 million, 30 million. Well, that didn't lose nearly as much money. Not sure what metric you're using for this. Your math seems to be off. Ardent, ouch. Furiosa. Worldwide box office 172.4 million, 168 million. Well, that's probably not money, but that's not hardly a bomb. Pixar's pandemic re-releases, box office 3.6 million combined. I don't think you really count that, but yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. Ardent, ratio of budget maybe? And The Fall Guy. Again, I don't know how. I mean, it made 180.9 million. That's a budget of 150 million. Well, probably didn't make any money, but you didn't lose that much money on The Fall Guy. And from the sound of it, it sounds like the streamers are making some decent money on it. So let me check the numbers. Maybe they have the biggest bombs. Oh, William Wallace is here. It all sounds like a steaming pile of trash. Hey, Tony D. Been listening since the beginning. I've been making some fettuccine chicken Alfredo. Ooh, delicious. It's almost ready. Everyone is invited. Cheers. See you in 30. Ardent. 31 million return isn't a profit? Well, you got to add the advertising, but let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Can we do this? Can we do this on here? Worst. Let me try. Worst box office 2024. How about that? No, it's not gonna. It doesn't search that way on the numbers. All right, let me try one more thing. Worst box office, and then we got to get to the trades. 2024. All right, here we go. CBR. Oh, take a look. Biggest box office. Oh, that's just a summer. We don't want that. Here's Forbes. That was. No, that's no good. Here we go. Box office Mojo. Oh, these are the biggest ones. All right. Got to go to this one. 42 of the biggest film flops, bombs, and misses in the first half of 2024. No, we can't do that one. So, I don't think anyone has a good list yet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Ardent at William Wallace. HNY. William Wallace. Howdy, Ardent. Ardent. Fair point. I would have assumed advertising would be included in the production budget, I guess. Well, they play fast and loose with it. That one's from July. Yeah, I can't. I think we have to wait. I think we have to wait. I'll try one more search. Lowest grossing films of 2024. Let's try that. Is the top. Yeah. No. Apparently, nobody wants to rank them. I'd have to do some research to get to those. All right. JC, can you really do an effective list when everything failed? That's true too. And the reason it would take so long to compile it is you'd have to compile a list of bombs and then go through each one and compare the budgets and all that kind of stuff. So let's just call it a bad year and move on to let's see. We did that list. All right. We're into Fandom Pulse. Here we go. Let's see what's happening in the trades. Oh, this dropped like a few hours ago. Disney Plus unveils your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man trailer complete with race-swapped cast, including Black, Harry, and Norman Osborn. And according to JDA, almost the entire cast is black except for Peter Parker, and Harry is also a woman. Harry's now a black woman in the series. So, William Wallace, we need to make movies great again. We certainly do. Well, we need to reinvent movies because movies are not what they used to be. I have a plan for the Pineys. The way I would reinvent it is like this. For the Pineys, what I want to do is do the best of a TV show and of a movie. See, the problem with movies, at least when you're talking about a franchise, when you're doing multiple movies, right, is the franchise, they can't crank out enough movies. So when Marvel was in its heyday, right, Iron Man was on top, the Avengers hit, and all these great movies were coming out. The thought was, I think, for a lot of the fans, ooh, I want to see more. That, to me, would have been a time to crank out more of those movies. They failed to get out of Black Widow during that time, which should have been a movie. They could have gotten out a Hulk movie. They just didn't. They just dropped the ball in some respects with capitalizing on the momentum when they had it. Now, in TV, you kind of have the opposite problem. With TV, you have more content, but people, like, if they don't get on board with a show, it gets to like the 7th episode, they may be afraid, I don't want to binge all that. It's like too much to get into, especially once you get in the 2nd or 3rd season, and then they feel like they're behind and they'll never catch up, and it's too much work to catch up. Like, maybe all their friends are talking about it, but if they didn't get on in the beginning, it's kind of annoying. So what you need is you need to reinvent the movie and the TV show so you could jump in at any point and it sustains itself, so you don't have to worry about binging all of it unless you really are into it. And at the same time, you want enough content that if people like it, you've got more episodes. So what I would do with the Pineys is I'd make, instead of 10 episodes, one on each book, or instead of making a movie, which would come out every 4 or 5 years, I would do B movies with the books, and I would make 6 a year, because it would be the same as shooting. It would actually be less footage than shooting, say, 10 one-hour episodes. You shoot 6 90-minute movies. And then each one can be a movie that stands on its own, but they also connect, which is how I wrote the books. So that, I think, would go some distance into addressing the issues with binging versus seeing it in the theaters. So they could play the Pineys in the theaters because it would be 90 minutes, but you could also just watch it at home. JC, just from the one still shot, the animation looks terrible. Yeah, it looks a little lackluster. Making the black woman a goblin? Racism. Ardent. LOL. Spider racist. Spider racist. Spider racist. Does whatever a racist can. Yeah, it just sounds stupid. And this still looks stupid too because he's dressed as Spider-Man, like, and he's got clothes over the Spider-Man outfit. Why does he have that? It doesn't make any sense. And he's got some guys behind him, and I assume that's Harry in the foreground, I guess. I don't know, or Harriet. I guess Harry's name isn't Harry anymore, it's Harriet. Oh, it sounds like a dumpster fire. But I was making jokes online. I posted the link to that CB4 song. If you've ever seen CB4, that Chris Rock movie from the 90s, there's a bunch of rap parody songs, and one's just called "I'm Black, Y'all," and "I'm Black, Y'all," and "I'm blackity blackity black." It just goes on and on. That's all he says in it. JC. So they replaced all the characters with Haitian illegals. Thanks, Biden. Yeah, it's just very silly. It's a strong, empowered goblin, you racist. Warhammer 40,000. The Ultimate Guide's author confirms female custodes still part of Warhammer. I don't know if you guys are Warhammer guys, but this has been going back and forth. Some aspects of the company or the people involved in the fandom want the female custodes. A bunch of them don't because they were never meant to be in the game, in the original concept of the game. But the rumor is they may be shoving the female custodes into the game in order to get female characters in the show that Henry Cavill's producing, or movie, I'm not sure. But we'll see. Ardent. Looks like someone on the art concept really wanted to do their own Scarlet Spider. Ardent. CB4 was almost Mel Brooks funny. Yeah, it was really good. Gears of War EP, Blast of Val, and art director Matt Hansen. Why would you say this? I believe he's blasting them for saying the usual stuff woke people say about their fans. Yeah, it didn't look good. Didn't look good. Didn't look good to do that. So I agree with him in the article. See, it says here, Mufasa beats Sonic 3 over Christmas stretch. Which gets you what, Disney? What does it get you? Who reads Variety other than me and a handful of people in the business? I mean, really? This isn't a... This is the entertainment newspaper. This is a trade mag. Even now, it's a trade mag. Most people don't read Variety. It's just not a general magazine, whatever it is, website now. I don't know why you would do this just to get this headline. Ardent, 2024, the year the producers did not learn to not beat on their fans. Yeah, they should stop doing that. Oh, and this was pretty funny. Chevy Chase told director Jason Reitman he should be embarrassed by Saturday night. I'm getting my own Chevy Chase moment. Indie Phantom, Disney cheats to impress shareholders. I guess. Wouldn't the shareholders be the one group of people who might dig into this a little further than, say, just Variety? If I owned Disney shares and I had any kind of real stake in the game, I wouldn't just count on Variety to tell me what's going on in the business. I'd look at a variety of sources because I'd be genuinely concerned with my money. And I can't imagine, not being like, holy crap, I got to get my money out of Disney. But that's just me. This isn't financial advice, by the way. JC, Chevy is right. I love Chevy. I really do. I know I've heard he's a bit of a tough guy to work with, but I kind of think that's just probably hype. But who knows? He was one of the original creators of Saturday Night Live. It was 3 guys. Him, Lorne Michaels, and I think Bill Ebersol is the guy's name. Chevy was a lot of the brain power in that. I mean, he certainly brought in the comedy. And he was out relatively early, so. Ardent, isn't Chevy just a renowned a-hole at this point? Yeah, but I think it may be that he's an a-hole because he's one of those guys that's usually right, but he's a jerk about being right, if you know what I mean. And I could kind of relate to that. I heard the funniest story about him that he was doing a personal appearance. I forget who was involved in it, but I knew a guy who was sort of tangentially involved with another appearance where Chevy showed up. But in this appearance that I'm referencing, he showed up and apparently did a pratfall. But like it was reported like an old man fell down. But I think he did it as a pratfall. But I don't know. With him, you can never tell. And that's what I kind of like about him. So, here's the Spider-Man thing again. It's so weird. It's such a weird look for him. More on the Squid Game. I have no interest in Squid Game, by the way. I don't know. People loved it and raved about it. I thought it was dumb. I thought the concept's dumb. Ardent, oh well, if he's right, he's a righteous a-hole. Yeah, that's my impression, but who knows? Oh, Jimmy Carter's dead, everybody. I don't know if you guys knew that. He died today. This was reported, I think, a few hours ago. So he was just hanging on barely for a while. Here's the most anticipated movies of 2025. Could look at this list really quick. That Spider-Man looks worse in every shot I see, says Ardent. Yeah, I agree. William Wallace, The Righteous A-Hole, sounds like a Tarantino flick. All right, here's the most anticipated movies of 2025. I'm probably going to totally disagree with this list. Let's see. Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, or The Fantastic Four, First Steps. I don't think anybody's really looking forward to those. Jurassic World Rebirth, no. Maybe Superman, although that's a stretch. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, yeah, 100%. That movie did pretty well. Was that last year? It must have been 2023. Ardent, oh no. Anyway, JC, I think people just clicked on Squid Games because the masks look like PlayStation buttons. Ardent, LOL. For families, films like Paddington in Peru, a Minecraft movie. Ugh, that looks awful. Elio, Zootopia 2, maybe. The SpongeBob movie, Search for Square Parents, maybe. And Wicked Part 2, maybe. JC, Jimmy Carter died? I thought he died a year ago, and just based on the photos of him campaigning for Kamala. I know, right? He looked terrible. Oh, can you imagine being that connected, like they keep trotting you out? Ardent, I'm cautiously optimistic about Superman. It looks like it might be brighter. It's definitely brighter. I don't know. I think he's talking about it too much. Yorgos Lanthimos with Burgonia. No thanks. Mickey 17 looks kind of interesting. James Cameron with the third Avatar. No thanks. 28 years later. That might be okay. Not super psyched to see it. James Gunn. Yeah, Superman. Oh, here we go. Wolfman. It doesn't look that great. It looks okay, maybe. Captain America, I don't think so. Paddington, maybe, for the Paddington fans. Mickey 17 looks mildly interesting. Snow White, oh, come on. Nobody's interested in this movie. I don't think. Minecraft movie, that looks god-awful. This looks freaking woke and stupid and terrible and full of Jack Black. I think it'll be the end of Jason Momoa's career. JC, just leave the poor guy in hospice care This is elder abuse. Same thing for Biden. Yeah. Sinners. Not sure. Oh, okay. I think I have seen the trailer. Michael B. Jordan plays twin brothers in the Ryan Coogler horror thriller. Maybe. Thunderbolts, no. There's no way this movie's going to be good. I think it'll suck. It looks terrible. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning? Maybe. Tom Cruise always puts in. I mean, it'll be watchable at the very least. Lilo and Stitch, live action? No interest. Karate Kid Legends, May 30th? Maybe. That might be okay. Ardent. Woke, stupid, terrible, and full of Jack Black. Repeating yourself? Woke, stupid, and terrible is no way to go through life, son. Indie Phantom. Minecraft will be next year's Borderlands. Yeah, it looks like it. Karate Kid Legends, I think, will be pretty decent. Ballerina. I don't think this will be good unless Anna de Armas is naked in most of it. If she kills people naked, I'm there. Elio. Don't know where that is. How to Train Your Dragon live action? Are you out of your mind? It's another movie they never should have made. JC, what did they think they had to gain by wheeling out the least popular president in modern history's corpse? I mean, I don't know. I really can't answer that because, you know, the only thing Carter had going for him was after he left the presidency, he gained a really good reputation for doing a lot of charity work. And he built houses and he tried to eradicate the guinea worm and became relatively successful at doing it. He was more successful as a post-president than he ever was as a president. Razor Fist pointed out that I think Jim Jones, the James Jones massacre happened underneath him, which I think is a little unfair to set on his doorstep, but I think the thing I would get him for is he had a botched mission to save the Iranian hostages, and it went terrible in the helicopter crash. But who knows? Maybe the deep state sacrificed a bunch of Marines to for some reason. Ardent at Alex Ogle, if you're still here, you need the clip of woke, stupid, and terrible is no way to go through life, son, for the TLE. 28 years later? Okay, that's definitely highly anticipated. F1, maybe for the gearheads. Megan Mithrigan 2.0. Yeah, people like that movie. I find it a little odd that the doll looks like a little girl. It's weird. Weird to me. I don't know. Something off-putting about that for me. But that's kind of the point. It's a horror movie. Jurassic World Rebirth. I think this is going to be terrible. But then again, I hate Jurassic Park, so... Ardent Jonestown, not really fair to put that on Carter. Iran, yes. Superman, yeah, that's pretty anticipated. The Smurfs movie, that's not anticipated. I didn't even know they were making that. Fantastic Four First Steps, I don't think this is going to be any good. The rumor is Sue Storm's bossing everyone around. Untitled Paul Thomas Anderson film with Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe? Freakier Friday, for a small audience, but sure, but not much. The Bride, maybe. Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein. I mean, it might be okay. Michael, maybe. Tron Ares, no. No, it's got Jared Leto. I don't think this is anticipated at all. The Black Phone 2, yeah, that did really well. Let's see. Ardent FF First Daggers. Predator Badlands. It's a sequel to Prey, I guess. JC, Jimmy Carter invented Kool-Aid. He is 100% responsible for Jonestown, FM Monster. He invented Kool-Aid? Begonia. I don't know. I don't know what that movie is, but I don't like Yargos Lanthimos. The Running Man, maybe. I don't think it's anticipated, though. The Running Man wasn't really a big movie when Arnold was in it. I don't really know how they're going to make this movie work. I mean, they made it work with Arnold because it was so friggin' stupid and campy. And Arnold was perfect for that. But I don't know about him. Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good. That is definitely highly anticipated. There's no getting around it. I don't like it any better than you do, but there's no getting around it. Zootopia 2. Yeah, people like that movie. Five Nights at Freddy 2. Absolutely. This movie's going to friggin' crush the competition. That's going to be the number one movie, I think. Avatar. Ugh. Fire and Ash. I hate this movie. I hate this franchise. I hate everything about it. I regret seeing the first one. I wish it would die, but it'll probably do $1 billion. Ardent. The New Running Man is more like the short book. If it's more like the short book, it's got a shot. If they remake Arnold movie, it'll fail. Yeah, it's just weird. Glenn Powell seems like the wrong guy for the role, but maybe? SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Oh, that'll be money. Money in the bank. So, yeah, those are the anticipated movies of 2025. Looking at Bounding into Comics. SNK brings Fatal Fury back to life with first new game in 26 years. So, there you go. Didn't know about that. Over at the Hollywood Reporter. Best New Year's Eve Las Vegas openings and events for Ringing In 2025. If you're going to Las Vegas, check out the Hollywood Reporter, I guess. JC, that's how he got elected. Entire country was on a sugar-induced mania. He rode that blood red sugar water tidal wave right into office. What else? What else happened this week? It's all the same damn stories. There's Spider-Man again. Again, that outfit looks insane and stupid. I guess he looks that way through the entire show. What, does he go to class in that outfit? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know who Spider-Man is. I wonder how I could find out. Well, he's going to school, and he just handed in this paper, and he wrote Peter Parker on it. Harry Potter disappointment shaped Chris Columbus' approach to producing Nosferatu. That was a weird headline. JC, only movie that kind of sort of remotely piqued my interest was the fifth SpongeBob movie, and I don't like SpongeBob. SpongeBob's okay. I think it's fine. It's goofy and wacky. Ardent, God's worse again. What is that hockey jersey? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. What is the things on his wrist? I mean, it looks terrible. Why would you redesign something that everybody likes? People are nuts. Bleeding Fool? Oh, this was big. Director Chris Nolan is adapting the Odyssey as next film. Now, they just came out with this Ray Fiennes film called The Return, which takes place after the Odyssey, where Odysseus returns, but I guess this is going to be all the adventures. There's a lot of material there, so it could be pretty epic. And Matt Damon is in it, I think. Ardent, surprised they haven't tried to remake Jacob 2-2 and the Hooded Terror. I don't know. Can AI beat human strategy? It depends. Depends on what you're doing. Denzel Washington got baptized this week and acquired a minister license at the age of 70. So as I said in the past, this is going to be the new trend in Hollywood. Now, Tim Allen, he's always been pretty conservative, that he's reading the Bible, probably something he did before. He's always been fairly consistent, although he had his wild days in his early days. Um, but like, you're going to see more and more of these celebrities talking about the Bibles, talking about church, discovering Jesus, because it's going to be the new hot trend. The old hot trend was like, oh, look at my trans kid. Now the new hot trend's going to be, oh, look at my kid. He just he got ordained as a minister or whatever. Or we all discovered Jesus together and we're going to Chris Pratt's church and aren't we awesome? That's going to be the new trend. Now I'm not saying there aren't a bunch of guys who genuinely found Christ and wanted to get back into the church. Like I said, Tim Allen's always sort of been conservative. Denzel Washington, kind of. Although he had some weird comments about Gladiator 2. I was like, what? Kissed a man in Gladiator 2 and they cut the scene. And then the director was like, no, that didn't happen. So I don't know. I don't know if he was testing the waters to see if like, oh, maybe I'll go woke. Oh, no, that didn't work. I'll go get super religious now. I don't know. Ardent, wasn't Tim Allen among the foul-mouthed comedian crowd with Bob Saget, etc.? Yeah, but that's kind of like you do that stuff on the road. And that was during his, I think, cocaine days. But no one was more foul-mouthed than Bob Saget, though. But Bob Saget was, if you saw Bob Saget, like, doing his show, oh, man, that guy he had a foul mouth on him. But Tim Allen, like, after a certain point, after he became famous, he was super conservative, I would say. Denzel Washington was kind of there, but he was way more cagey about it. You never quite knew. He was quietly conservative, I think. So, but I think that's going to be the next trend. And it's going to be tough to pick out the guys who are genuinely Christian and conservative and the guys who are like, oh, I'm going to do this because this is going to be great for my career. Right now, I think most of the guys jumping in are probably mostly sincere. I have to question Russell Brand because the timing of his conversion was very suspicious. And now he's selling some sort of merch based on it. And it's not my religion per se, but it feels a little tacky to be selling merch kind of associated with religion, you know what I mean? Ardent, no one more foul-mouthed than Saget. Ahem. Sam motherfucking Kinison called. Well, that was on stage. I don't know, man. Saget was pretty foul-mouthed behind the scenes. I'll tell you who was the most foul comedian I ever saw. My parents took me and my brother to see Buddy Hackett. Buddy Hackett was a Borscht Belt comedian. He was in Herbie the Love Bug movie. If you've ever seen that, he was in it. It's a mad world. He's an old school comedian. I think he's long dead. But Buddy Hackett, live, was one of the most foul-mouthed guys I'd ever seen. And this had to be like in the 70s. Like, this had to be the 70s. And it blew my little mind at the time. He was saying words I had never heard and using them in sentences. I don't think I've heard some of them to this day. Ardent, to be fair, if you want a taste of their foulness, check out Bob and Gilbert Gottfried's Saget roast. It was so good. I think I saw that. JC, Russell Brand is a WEF plant. Yeah, it sure feels that way. Very sus, Russell Brand. Either that or he did it because the net was about to close in on him for some sexual misstep he had years ago, and he figured like, oh, I'll just convert to Christianity and then they won't be able to touch me. And that's kind of what it felt like. Ardent, Buddy Hackett was brutal. He so was. And he worked the crowd. Like, he was like stand-up comics, there are guys that work the crowd. So he was totally off the cuff, just saying the most foul stuff. He wasn't even telling jokes. He was just saying the most foul-mouthed stuff he could think of off the top of his head. Ardent, Russell is too flamboyant for sincerity, methinks. Possibly. He certainly comes off as insincere. But, you know, until he does something really stupid, I just compartmentalize him, put him over there in the corner with, guys who may or may not be sincere. Ardent, Jimmy Carr is amazing with hecklers. He really is. But he's more clever than he is vulgar, you know. I mean, he doesn't have a problem with going there, as they say, but he's very good. He's very, very quick. JC, there's a bunch of pics of him being buddy-buddy with some WEF figures going back years. He's 100% controlled opposition. Has been from the start, says JC about Russell Brand. Okay. Ardent, yeah, clever indeed. Bring on the bad guys, Amazon's Master of the Universe cast villains. So we'll take a look at this. So Jared Leto as Skeletor. That is a terrible, terrible casting for a number of reasons. Number one, if you're going to cast Skeletor, look at his face. Look at it. If you're going to do a guy like that, you can't put the eyes in. You got to just make it all an effect. So what's the point of having Leto in it at all? Why spend the money on a named guy, when you're not going to see his face? If you do say his face, people are going to hate it. So, good luck with that. Where's the rest of them? Oh, here they are. Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw. That's another one. Like, why even... Okay. Hathor Bjornsson as Goatman. Okay. Is that the guy who's the mountain? Is that who that is? Is he the same dude as the mountain? Why would you cast him as Goatman? Yeah, that's the mountain. Why would you cast him as Goatman? Why wouldn't you cast him as one of the Why wouldn't you cast him as Skeletor and just redo his voice? He's a monster. Ardent, who the F is Goatman? It's the mountain from Game of Thrones. That big dude. William Wallace, yes. And Kojo Atta as Triclops. Another one, like, have you seen the figures of these characters? There's no way these guys are going to even get their face seen. Ardent, yeah, he was the mountain in several seasons of GOT. They joined the cast with fellow villain Evil Lynn, played by Alison Brie. All right. I mean, I like Alison Brie. She's hot. Heroes include Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man, Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms, and Idris Elba's and everything. Camelia Mendez as Tila, based on the iconic Mattel franchise. Travis Knight is directing from a script by Chris Butler. All right, let's see what Chris Butler credits are like. Going to the IMDb. No, I mean, who is the Goatman character? I think he was one of the figures. Is this him? Is this the Chris Butler we're talking about? Upcoming. Yep. Screenplay by. He's writing it. His previous The Heritage, Missing Link, Cubo and the Two Strings, Paranorman. Well, that did okay-ish. It didn't look embarrassing. Wildwood. Is that about Wildwood, New Jersey? Pinocchio. Another Pinocchio thing? How many times are you going to do Pinocchio? All right. Well, he's got credits, I guess. Ardent. No way they put Brie in the correct costume. Oh, it'd be great if they did. She's still got it. Ardent. Wrote Kubo and the Two Strings. That wasn't bad. Okay. So this guy looks like he's got some chops. It's weird who they pick to write stuff sometimes. I just don't, it's like they got no one with real credits. Okay, so Deadline, more on Carter. The guy who founded HBO and Cablevision is dead. Charles Dolan, he was 98. A lot of very old people dying today. Oh my God. So if you haven't followed this, let me just summarize the Blake Lively situation. So Blake Lively was in this movie called It Ends With Us. The director and her co-star, it's the same guy, named Baldoni. Initially, the movie came out and did pretty well because it's based on a very popular book. But there were all these rumors that Blake Lively was a problem on the set and had some issues. And then it kind of went away. Ardent. Oh man, I just saw that pic of James Earl Jones. I have to do an in memoriam segment on my New Year's Eve show. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Zevix to Minds. Baldoni. Yeah, that's his name. It's like Baldini, but with an O. So then, so it kind of went away. The controversy kind of went away. And then the movie was going through the PR push, and Blake Lively was getting a lot of weird pushback. They were questioning her whether or not she was a jerk on the set or whatever. It was kind of hard to tell whether or not it was her or whether this was just some rumor ginned up for, I don't know, purposes of promoting the movie. Then, like a month went by, nothing, and then, boom, Blake Lively drops a lawsuit on this guy that hits like a ton of bricks, accusing him of, I think, sexual harassment. So his PR firm dropped him. I think his agent dropped him. A bunch of her co-stars came out on her side. Then somebody made a joke about it in one of the roasts that they just shot. I think it was Whitney Cummings. And then she had to explain the joke and that she's really on Blake Lively's side. So the question is this Blake Lively, like, being a total diva and going at this guy because he pissed her off in some way? Or is this guy genuinely a jerk who did some cross the line on the set and now has pissed off the first family of Hollywood, Ryan Reynolds and his lovely wife, Blake Lively? And I'm telling you, that's this Baldoni guy doesn't seem to have a single ally in Hollywood. They all seem to be siding with Blake Lively. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean he did anything, but it doesn't look good. Zevix to Minds. Ton of Brooks. It's a very damp lawsuit. Do you mean a ton of bricks? It's a shame, too, because Baldoni optioned the book, this Colleen Hoover book. And there's more, I think there's more books with these characters. And I don't think they're ever going to be able to make them because he was the main character and she was the main character. And that's where the lawsuit is. So, he was a real smart guy for doing this. Or, I mean, one of my theories, and this is just a theory, I'm just speculating, I don't know anything. But my theory would be that because Baldoni had this very valuable IP, that some people in the studio want to see him knocked off his perch so they can gobble it up and make the sequel, with or without him. So, because I gotta think he's making all the money. If he had that, because the rumor is he has very much of the control of the rights to Colleen Hoover's book. I don't know if he bought them outright. I don't think he bought it outright, but I think he holds the license for whatever that's worth. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this lawsuit. I have a sneaking suspicion he should have a boatload of money and should be able to settle it, but that might be the end of his career. But maybe that's the point, to get at him and get that IP, or maybe he's genuinely guilty. Maybe both. I don't know. It's very, it's a lot of intrigue. A lot of intrigue for Mrs. Ryan Reynolds there. And I got to think Ryan Reynolds must be in his mansion pissed at this guy. Either way. Like, I don't know if he knows any inside information or not. Because if this was genuinely happening to my wife, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's no way he could have known everything, I would say, and then just sit back and let it happen to her, right? He would have just, I don't know, if not gone down there and punched the guy out, he would have sent some goons to watch his wife and make sure, you know, the director didn't canoodle with his wife. I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I don't have any real information. I'm just speculating, but I got to think, if that was my wife, I would have sent a goon squad down to have a little chat with Baldani if she told me, like, he was touching her or whatever. Even though she's an actress. And this is the other factor. She's an actress, a romantic lead in a romantic movie with her co-star, who's also the director. There's going to be some touching. I mean, there's just going to be some touching. But if he goes too far, it's like, yeah, I think I would have gone down to the set and had a little chat with him at first and said, hey, back off of my wife, douche. Back off. I don't want your hands going to certain places. Keep it above the equator. You just do the rest of it with CGI or something. Ardent, LOL, imagine Baldani gets assaulted by a dude in a Deadpool costume. Yeah, and then Ryan Reynolds is arrested, and it's not him. It's some fan. Or maybe it is him, but like Ryan Reynolds blames one of the fans. He's like, oh, it must have been a fan. I wouldn't be that crazy. I don't know, man. It's very strange. That's the other thing, too. Like, you're on and this was not a small production. This was talk about a highly anticipated movie. This is a huge book. It's got a huge following. You're telling me this guy crossed the line knowing the scrutiny he'd be under? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, people do it, but Zebek's demise. Baldani becomes Balls Ghani. That's pretty funny. Scrubs creator Bill Lawrence calls reboot a no-lose situation and explains initial hesitancy. Well, my hesitancy would be that your show's not funny and it sucks and I wouldn't watch it. But that's just me, not being a fan of Scrubs at all. Maybe a couple of bits I would give them, but I didn't like Scrubs, but sure, bring that back. They bring back everything else. Why not Scrubs? Tributes to Jimmy Carter. Joe Biden pays tributes to Jimmy Carter. Of course, Deadline, the media outlet about movies. Let's talk about Jimmy Carter. The guy who made so many movies. Jimmy Carter dies. Longest living U.S. president, won Nobel Prize for advancing human rights. Yeah, and Barack Obama won it for nothing. I believe it wasn't Yasser Arafat. Oh, God. Who was the leader of the PLO? I think he won it one year. There's a lot of guys who won the Nobel Peace Prize who either didn't deserve it or, quite frankly, had some questionable backgrounds, in my view. Ardent, I'd rather see a Super Troopers series instead of a Scrubs reboot. Yeah, me too. I would rather just give the guys from Super Troopers a show. Let them design a new show. William Wallace, the faceplant machine is going to try to sniff at him. Wait for it. Ardent, Yasser Arafat was the leader of the PLO when he won with, I think it was Ariel Sharon. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and that's a weird guy to give a Nobel Peace Prize to. Yeah, I don't put much stock in the Nobel Peace Prize. Do 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 do. Yet another article about SNL for some reason. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 races past 200 million global. Mufasa roars to 328 million, and Moana 2 nears 900 million. 900 million? That, Moana 2 is at 900 million? I don't know what you're talking about. It's not nowhere near 900 million yet. I mean, maybe. Maybe you're talking about combined. Ardent, they nominated Trump at least a couple of times. Well, Trump actually deserved it. I mean, the Abraham Accords were. Look, I'm 58 years old. No one came as close to peace in the Middle East as Trump did. Like, no one even progressed the. Every time they attempted to do something, it always blew up in everybody's face. Trump actually moved the needle with the Middle East peace process because the Abraham Accords had some of the Arab countries recognizing Israel. That's one of the big issues. Like, a lot of these Arab countries won't recognize Israel as a country. And that causes all sorts of problems for diplomacy and whatnot. So to have, these pretty hardline Arab countries even recognize Israel was a huge accomplishment. If Barack Obama had done that to even one country, they would have given him 10 Nobel Peace Prizes. And they'd still be talking about it to this day. The fact that Trump did it, they just weren't going to give it to him. Because the same people that control the Nobel Peace Prize control the Mark Twain honors. They're all liberals. Every one of them's a liberal, and they all hate Trump. So it's about who controls things, and the media is controlled mostly by liberals, and I mean it's just liberals, liberal. So until that stops, you watch. Like, I hope to be around in the next, I don't know, 40, 50 years. I hope I make it to 100 or so. I'm sure the stuff they'll say about Trump after he's gone, it'll be glowing. You wait. They'll be building they're already building statues to Trump. Ardent. Oh, look, another origin story for a famous hero. Oh, there it is. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man trailer, Marvel animated series, pays tribute to comic book roots with Peter Parker's origin story. Yeah, we haven't seen enough of that. William Wallace, amen to that. Ardent, I can create peace in the Middle East, but no one wants to talk about drilling for oil through radioactive glass. Rough. Ardent, commies. All right, moving on to cosmic book news. So X-Men 97's Bo DeMeo tears into Marvel's What If Season 3. Now, I believe this was the guy who wokeified X-Men 97, and so he's now been ousted out of X-Men 97, I guess. So now he's criticizing Marvel's What If Season 3 as if I give a crap about what Bo DeMeo says after he seemingly wokeified the X-Men? I don't know. All this stuff coming out of Marvel's just god-awful to me. Ardent, LOL, you may question my methods, but you can't argue with the effectiveness of the results. Well, we don't even need to do that. We have all the oil we need in the United States and in Canada. You guys got tons of oil. It's just we've got too many commies here. They don't want to drill it because they want, I don't know, to be beholden to China for some reason. Because they think a social credit score will help them not work ever again. And they can live in the pod and eat the bugs and save the climate while China mines coal and throws everybody in a gulag. Ardent, true that. All right, let's see. Fans reject Rachel Zegler in Disney Snow White special look. Yes. I think fans reject Rachel Zegler in general at this point. Bill Skarsgård says filming Marvel's Eternals was ridiculous. Well, it's safe to say that now, isn't it, Bill? It's funny how these guys come out like years after their movies, and then it's like, oh yeah, that movie was terrible. Well, weren't you in it? Didn't you help promote it in some way? Ardent, green figs. I don't know what that means. Zibik's demise. We have no oil. Where are you, Zebik, again? Squid Game Season 2 review. A decent, worth a watch. Nah, it's not my thing. I don't like the premise of Squid Games. It just doesn't. Superman Fallout. Buzz is not good. Should be worried. I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe that. But that's not good. Whether it's true or not, it's not a good thing to have bad buzz. Toy Story 5, not about the Disney money, says Tim Allen. Brilliant script. Maybe. Zebek's demise, British Columbia. Well, you guys are part of Canada, right? British Columbia, it's owned by Canada, isn't it? Who owns British Columbia? The Brits own it? We'll invade it soon. Just keep your pants on. Ardent, it's a way of getting around YouTube doesn't like when you disparage a particular type of sexual orientation. Oh, and this was a big deal this week. James Gunn responding to Batman 2 concerns. So the story is that Batman 2 got pushed back to 2027. But Ardent, at Zebek's demise, there's oil in BC. My cousin used to work oil field there. William Wallace, why don't you mirror your stream on X? Asking for a friend. I'm not sure how to do that yet. I have to figure that out. Zebek's demise. Ardent. Too late, Zebek. We're evading. So Batman, the Batman 2 got pushed to 2027, which is kind of far, but I think Matt Reeves did a good job with the first one. Ardent, at Zebek's demise, shut up, you. I'm angling for a no-move change of citizenship. So then it was announced that Muschietti, I think his name is, the guy who directed The Flash, was supposed to be directing The Brave and the Bold, and I think Batman was going to be in it. But James Gunn initially said the DCU Batman would be different. Now the rumor is he's pushing for Matt Reeves' Batman, Robert Pattinson, to be the DCU Batman, which to me makes sense. I thought the Batman was a decent flick. I thought Pattinson did a pretty good job. And I thought Reeves did an excellent job. I think Gotham is good. I think it works. So I think what happened is they're negotiating with Pattinson and Reeves, and they're trying to get it all connected to the DCU, and they're trying to get Pattinson in the other movies and all that good stuff, which I would like to see because he makes a pretty good Batman, I think. Now, I think also, too, initially he was supposed to be a young Batman, and the implication in the DCU that it was going to be a slightly older Batman, but I think they could work with Pattinson as younger Batman with younger Superman. I think it would be kind of cool. And then they could do it maybe longer if it works out. I mean, if you do Batman correctly. So if Batman's more of a detective and he's more of the brains of the operation, I would like to see that in like a Justice League or a Brave and the Bold team up kind of thing. Ardent, make Newfoundland America already. William Wallace, patchover party. Canada deserves to be free. It could be glorious. Well, I'm totally for Trump taking America's hat and turning it in. I don't think it should be the 51st state. I think it should be, a bunch of states. And I think Alberta would be solidly red. But and someone someone did the math on the delegates, and the Republicans would still be in the mix if they did that. But I don't think it's going to happen. There's too many people in Canada with too much money to lose if that happens. Because we would roll in there and steal everything. You understand? We'd roll in and steal everything. Yeah, you say you want to be in it now, but yeah, we run things in a weird way. So you guys would be like New Jersey and California and Massachusetts at first. It would be a GD mess at first. It'd take a while, and but hey, I'd like it. I'd like to see Canada become part of America because I think we have a better system. I think you guys would do better. I mean, I was rooting for the truckers during the truckers protest. I think that was a good thing. But it would be interesting if it happened. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we should buy Greenland, though. And I definitely think we should take the Panama Canal back. Ardent, if Gun Superman is a lighter tone, it would be a good combination that would honor the character's interplay. Yes. Ardent, sorry, Tony, my Twitter persona has emerged. 6 new territories, maybe. Zebek's demise, most of BC would be red too. Oh, good. Well, see, that's the problem with the blue states here. Most of the states, like if you look at Illinois on a map or New York, most of the state is red. The problem is the cities, and that's where all the population is. So you have a state like New York, but it's run by the blues. Now, in the next couple of elections, that may change because the Democrats have so the bed that it's turning red. And same thing in New Jersey. It's very likely we could finally take back the governorship here. Our governor election is upcoming in 2025. It depends who we pick. I have to re-register as a Republican so I can vote for anybody other than the guy who's probably going to win. I don't want to get into it, but so yeah, I mean, you guys would be like 5 red states and 5 blue states and 1 red state, even with, your cities. That's where the population is, and it tends to vote blue. But that is changing. Ardent, take it. We're not using it. We want 2A and lower taxes. Well, you would absolutely get 2A. Zebek's demise, only if we can be officially called America's hat. William Wallace, MAGA is a different party. We'll make Canada great again. That's true. If MAGA continues to grow, William Wallace, thank God for the Electoral College. Yes. And one of Trump's missions needs to be voting reform. If he gets the voting reform through Congress, which is going to be tough, the Democrats don't stand a chance in the next 20 years. That'll be it for them. They'll collapse as a party. I've been calling for that for a while, but I think without the cheating in the voting, they're screwed. They will lose more states. They will lose Jersey. They will lose New York. If they can reform the voting system even just a little bit to get voter ID in, they're so screwed. Ardent, it's the same in Canada. The cities override the rural areas. If we had an electoral college, it wouldn't be that way. Yeah, there's a lot of talk, and actually Trump mentioned this. Razorfist talked about this, and I 100% agree. Electoral college for states, right? So you could have more equal representation amongst your state, and then the cities wouldn't rule everything. But cities are changing too. A lot of people are moving out of the cities, so they're so terrible. So that's going to change. I mean, a lot of the demographics have really changed here too. We've got more electoral votes now in Texas, Florida, and one other state. I forget which one that people were moving to. Can't remember. And California lost some, and New York lost some. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Ardent at William Wallace, right? William Wallace, fist bump, Patriot at Ardent. Fist bump, says Ardent. Ardent, LOL, ironically, at William Wallace, I'm getting called anything but a patriot lately due to my attitude towards annexation, which, to be fair, is partly for laughs. William Wallace, you're in the right track if you're getting the flack, Ardent. Ardent, if our provinces had internal electoral colleges, we'd be a lot better. Yeah, same thing with our states here. We would, it would be a lot fairer, you know. California especially. I think California is especially unfair, and that's why it's been such a mess. Gavin Newsom should have been recalled, and the Democrats will fight us tooth and nail on that issue and on voting reform. So we'll see what happens. I have a lot of optimism for this upcoming couple of years. Trump can only do so much, but if he gets some of these major things done, I think it'll be there'll be a lot of good. Unfortunately, the moment. So, for instance, one of the things I know Trump will be able to get done is energy. You know, he's gonna bring back the Keystone Pipeline and other energy deals, and we're gonna watch gas go down, down, down. We're gonna watch businesses thrive again. But the moment people are comfortable again is the moment they tend to lean left. Because they feel like, oh, I got so much, let me help poor people. And the left sort of preys on that. So we'll see what happens. But Ardent, California is a lot like BC outside the coastal cities. They are based as hell for the most part. I miss living in Okanagan. Those hill people do not F around. That is an interesting name. Tom Cruise got a new movie. Yeah, see, here's DCU Batman postponed amid Robert Pattinson rumors. I think he was a decent Batman. William Wallace, we have Rumble and X to hold their feet to the fire. That's why they're so hysterical about it. Yeah, but they're not going out without a fight. So my worry, of course, is that they're going to get us into a war. And that's going to screw everything up, or they're just going to drag their feet and delay everything. But I think, so far, fingers crossed, everything's working out good. We got to get Trump inaugurated. Got to get him in there. Ardent, to paraphrase, Arnold, screw you poor people. Oh, Arnold, screw your poor people. No, wait, that's not my Arnold voice. Get to the chopper. Screw your poor people. That's not very good, Arnold. I used to do a better Arnold. Ardent, Okanagan. It's a region in BC, and it's damn near paradisical. Looking at the wrap. German newspaper editor resigned over Elon Musk op-ed supporting far-right party. It's not the far-right party, the wrap. It's the AfD party, which is being smeared as a far-right party because they actually want to stop immigration in Germany because it's so out of control there. But you do you, the wrap. But look at all these. This is all political stuff. You might as well just be politics, the wrap. Paradisical. Ardent. Rare for me to have to look up a spelling. But not rare for me to mispronounce something. I paced myself this time. All right, moving on to... I thought I'd look at Breitbart's entertainment section. It's usually pretty amusing. Late night comedy spent 2024 bashing Trump as viewership continues to crash. That is true. Now, in their defense, television in general has crashed. People aren't watching TV. Network TV is pretty dead. There's no reason to watch it. They got a few shows, but really people now, they've got stuff to do. They're busy in their lives. If they've got various services and they know that a show's going to be on that service eventually, a lot of people would rather binge watch it. And then I think part of the deal is too, there's a couple of shows I thought about binge watching and I kind of got in my head, I'll binge watch it when it's done. And then I just kind of forgot about them, or now I kind of don't want to watch that many shows. So network TV was its own thing. Ardent. LOL, every time you say Newfoundland. Zevek's Demise. The Okanagan is where our lake monster is. Oh, neat. What's the lake monster called? I'm kind of happy to see the late night comedy. I don't even know you call it comedy anymore. The late night talk shows fold. They're just awful to me. Ardent at Zevek's Demise. Ogo Pogo. Oh, neat. Good name. William Wallace. Lake Monster, I'm there. This was another story. I think this was last week. Former Pixar staffers breakdown over cut trans storyline in kid show. Can't tell you how much I cried. Yeah, this was a show that Pixar is doing. This is actually a sign that Disney is pulling back from the woke. So I wouldn't put it past them to sneak it in some other way. But apparently they did an entire episode of this cartoon, a kid's cartoon, where there's a trans character, a kid trans character introduced, which I think is wrong. Again, I don't think there's anything such as a trans child. I think that's the parents putting it on the kid. You shouldn't put that on a kid. A kid should not be dealing with that kind of stuff when they're a minor. You should absolutely not be encouraging that either way. You should just let the kid be a kid and have a nice time and not, not interfere with that sort of personal decision. But schools and these wokeified moms they're desperate for the validation. And that's what it's really about. They virtue signal all day long, and then they validate themselves with, oh, honey, look at my trans kid. Aren't I a great mom? And it's kind of very sad. I think some of these people might be going to prison for what they've done to their own children. Zevek's Demise, Ogo Pogo. That's a cool name. I think I've heard of Ogo Pogo. Ardent, we have a sea serpent called Fortuna here in Fortune Bay. Oh, neat. Fortuna. Is it a tuna? The sea serpents we have here, we have the Cape May sea serpent and the Sandy Hook sea serpent. The Sandy Hook sea serpent makes an appearance in the Pineys book 10, and the Cape May serpent makes an appearance in the Pineys book 16. William Wallace. We have Bigfoot here in upstate New York. Bigfoot has been just about in every state, I think. In New Jersey, we have a lot of Bigfoot sightings, but in South Jersey, they call him the Red Eye. It's the same story, but except it's a different name. It's called the Red Eye because the Red Eye is when you shine a flashlight in front of an animal, their eyes are different. They take in more light. You know, when you flash a light towards your cat and you get that weird look in their eye, you can see all the way into the back of their head, kind of. That's a red eye. Like, humans don't have those kinds of eyes. But legend has it the Bigfoots do because they're walking around at night. And so, thus, the red eye. Ardent. We got loads of spooky story stuff here. I should start doing them when I get back to doing Terra Nova Tuesdays. Oh, that sounds interesting. Storebang. I'm transfixed that this transgression has transpired. William Wallace, the Jersey Devil, love it. Can't wait to check out the Pineys. Thank you. Then Disney's biggest disasters of 2024 was another article. So we have the Alkalite, of course. Ardent, never seen an animal with actual red reflections in their eyes. It's not exactly red, but it's like it like fills up when the light hits it. The eyes completely reflect. It's like it turns them into like a reflector almost. I mean, don't shine a light into your cat's eyes to see, but if like some headlights go by, you can see it. Yeah. So the Alkalite, huge fail, huge loss for Disney. Tons of money. The number I hear about the money they spent on the Alkalite just goes up and up. Last I heard, I think was $180 million on 8 episodes, I think. Is it 8 or 10? I think it was only 8. Ardent. Oh, nice. Sounds like owls. Disney Plus woes. Doctor Who is an absolute, I think, of an abortion of a show now. I mean, look, a lot of stuff I talk about, and I don't even see it. But you don't have to see much of the new Doctor Who to see it is nothing like old Doctor Who. I mean, like, this is woke times a million. I don't know who this show is for, but I just can't imagine people going, oh, I love the new Doctor Who. Like, anybody who would be into this show never would have watched it in the first place, which means you lose all the old audience, like 100%. And we're talking a show with a 60-year history. And then anybody new who would watch it probably is a big Broadway musical person, because there's a lot of musicals in it. Probably wouldn't exactly be a huge fan of sci-fi and this kind of stuff. So I think it would be a struggle for them to even get into it, but whatever. Just my opinion. William Wallace. We're on the foothills of the Adirondacks. In the woods, long private road, and we've heard and seen some weird crap over the years. I can imagine. Ardent. Oh, actually, rabbits do have eye reflections. Well, Arctic hare here. Seen a few on the roads. Doctor Who the hell cares? More figs. Mufasa the Lion King. I don't know if you can call this a failure yet. I mean, we're looking at 327 million. I mean, I wouldn't call that a failure. Seems like that's at least break even for yeah, it's a $200 million production. I guess you could say it lost money if they blew it on advertising, but I mean, it still did okay-ish, I would say. But ABC News, yeah, ABC News, total failure. They had to pay Trump $15 million to settle a defamation suit. But I just think the bigger loss for ABC is its credibility. And all the major news organizations, their credibility is completely shot, in my view. Which means they've got nothing to do but lose money until they turn off the lights. And I'm interested to see which major network will completely cut their news division first. I suspect it'll probably be CBS. Only because CBS is such a loser of a network, in my opinion. Like, ABC and NBC are more woke than CBS, but somehow CBS is even worse because it never was, in my view, very good to begin with. It always, like, aimed its shows at old people, and you know, they're also trying to do woke stuff too, which alienates what audience they had. So I think it'll be CBS that finally says, oh yeah, we're closing our news division and then becoming the next thing, which might just be an info network. I don't know. Infotainment network, like just showing infomercials 24/7, because that's where TV's headed, I think. Ardent, LOL, the chicks on The View having to apologize a while back was hilarious. That was hilarious. They had to read legal statements, what, 2 or 3 times at least? The rumor is they're axing that show come the new year. That's the rumor. I would love to see it. Oh, I would tune in to the last episode of The View if they announced that. This is the last episode of The View. We've had such a great time. Great time doing what? Destroying America? Yeah, I would love to see Whoopi get fired. All right. So, yeah. So that's it for the biggest losers at Disney. Yeah. Breitbart's got a lot of good takes, I think. Oops. Messed up. Hold on. Ardent, CBS did good work with 60 Minutes for a long time, but yeah, I mean, 60 Minutes, I wouldn't give you 10 cents for 60 Minutes now. Ardent, LOL, imagine if they allowed people to live tweet during the last episode. Oh, that'd be amazing. Olivia Hussey, star of the 1968 film Romeo and Juliet, dies at 73. Wasn't she involved in a lawsuit to sue the film company because back when she did the movie, I think she was 16? Or is that a different actress? I don't know. William Wallace, Whoopi should play Predator in the next remake. She should just retire. I think she's an embarrassment. She used to be a comedian, if you can imagine. I think they should just quietly shut her to the show rather than have any lead up to the last show. That would be great. Ideally, I would love to see them do their last show without them ever knowing it's their last show. And then ABC just comes up and says, we're not renewing you. Get out. Zebek's Demise at William Wallace. Already got the makeup ready? Ardent, saving on hair and voice effects. This is like a horrific story. Rapper OG Mako, 32, dies weeks after self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's horrific, man. Guy tried to off himself and then took weeks to die. That is horrible. Poor guy. Ardent, saving on hair and voice effects. William Wallace, she does Zebek. LOL. Poll, overwhelming majority of Americans don't care about celebrities' political opinions. Shocker, I know. Ardent, LOL, best possible outcome. Rosie O'Donnell comes back for one episode and CBS hired Trump to come out and fire them live on stage. Zebek's Demise, weeks that week. That's weak. Dune director Denis Villeneuve, human beings are ruled by algorithms. Right now, society is crumbling. Okay. Way to cheer us up. All right, and finally, that Park Place. Disney's survey on bringing The Simpsons to theme parks could confirm Universal Pokemon rumors. I think it would be a shame if The Simpsons end up at Disney World, but I think that's where they're headed. So, it's a shame. William Wallace, I'd pay to see that. Zebek's Demise, I'd buy that for $1. Oh, and the big controversy this week was the H-1B visas, which I think I mentioned at the beginning. Question surrounds Disney's past use of H-1B visas in replacing domestic workforce. So, apparently Disney was abusing the H-1B visa program in order to get like chefs in and other people for jobs that weren't necessarily needed to import from other countries. And they were kind of abusing it where it was really meant to be used for like high level, like engineer types, is my understanding. And so apparently Trump had reformed the H-1B visa program so that it wouldn't be abused, but then the Biden administration undid all that because that's what they do. Ardent, LOL, I think Villeneuve is testing to see if there's interest in a Butlerian jihad. It's a Dune nerd thing. Butlerian. The Butlers are going to revolt? Oh my God. William Wallace, I'm biased for Lynch's version. I've seen it. I like that Sting's in it. I thought Sting got the short shrift when it came to acting. I thought he could be in more stuff, but they never really cast him. Ardent, LOL, Paramount looking at new Power Rangers? Nice. Who's going to play the white Power Ranger? Yeah, I never really got down with the whole Power Ranger thing. I never understood the appeal at all, but Ardent at William Wallace, I liked sci-fi's most. Zebek's Demise, we have a similar program in Canada to the H-1B program, and it's being used to hire workers for Tim Hortons and similar jobs. Yeah, see, that's not what it should be for. It's just basically here it's just basically another avenue for Biden to stuff a bunch of immigrants into this country in an attempt to pad the Democrats' ledgers so they have more voters. It's meant to be like we're meant. Look, people often, when I argue immigration with them, they say, "Oh, well, when your ancestors came to this country, they were welcomed." That's not true. When the Italians came to this country, there were all sorts of rejections. They came in, and you had to make sure you had a good bill of health. That was no. They sent people back who were sick and too old to work, and they didn't have a connection here, and they didn't have any kind of job or skill. They sent them back. They did that to lots of people. So, yeah, there has to be legal immigration, and there has to be some amount of vetting done. Now, refugees are a different issue. They get special treatment because they're in a bad situation. But when it comes to regular legal immigration, you have to have some manner of stopgap measure, or you have to have a bar. You have to exceed the bar to get in. And that changes according to the needs of the country, not according to the needs of the people wanting to get in. If we don't need engineers anymore, we should stop taking them. Now, we'll always need engineers to some degree or another. And according to Scott Adams, we're going to need a lot of them in the future years to rebuild. But yeah, so it's been a big hot button issue on X this week, but it's mostly died down. It's not splitting MAGA. It's just more chatter. James Lindsay has a good take on it, I think. William Wallace, I like Spice Divers fan edit the best, actually. I'd like to see the sci-fi version. Haven't seen it. Ardent at Zebek's Demise. Yeah, I had to go at Billboard Chris over his attitude towards the TFW thing. There's no reason a rural town of 10,000 in Newfoundland should have a Tim Hortons staffed by immigrants. No, probably not. William Wallace, merit-based. Yeah, it should be merit-based. Everything should be merit-based. Ardent at William Wallace. It's good they combined the next two books for the sequel, and it was not as good, but still decent. Zebek at Ardent. There are a lot of people that don't seem to know it's a problem. Ardent at William Wallace. Merit with a preference for native-born, in my opinion. Yeah, it depends on your situation. Right now in the United States, we need a complete overhaul. We need to deport a lot of people. We need to adjust the preferences a little bit. So that should be the rule at any country, and it usually is. Native-born people get first crack, and then, if you don't measure up, well, then we'll look overseas to fill up the ranks. But it has to be merit-based, and it has to be, the guys who should get first crack are the guys who are local. William Wallace, I will look at it. I think Lynch's Dune was the best. They own their parts. Memorable quotes, fantastic sets. Zemek's well, that was H.G. Geiger, I think, worked on those sets. Designed them. Zebek at Ardent, yeah, I can't believe it. Ardent at Zebek, Demise, he was calling those of us concerned about it racist, but he's not a politics guy. He's more about the trans LGBT stuff out of his wheelhouse. Zebek at Ardent, yeah. All right, it's 10 o'clock, and I got to wrap this up. So, once again, let me pick Ardent H.R. Geiger. Yes, okay. So I will pick the worst movie of the year. I will say is, so many to choose from. I'm going to have to go with Joker 2 as my pick for the worst movie of the year, because that movie is so far from the original. I mean, I would put the American Society of Magical Negroes in that too. That looks really, really bad and cringe. But there was no expectations of that being good. I think. I think the expectation was, my God, that's going to be awful. But like, there was some expectation with Joker on top of it being terrible, terrible movie in my view, and it really seemed to be setting up a female Joker. Ardent, this year we learned that Tony can actually be made to say pineapple, something something, and something something. William Wallace, oh my God, yes, throw it into the fireplace. And for the best movie of the year, I'd have to go with Deadpool and Wolverine. That, to me, that was the best. I mean, of the ones I saw, there might be another addendum if I see something later. That was really good. I really enjoyed it. It sustains it through most of the movie. I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to love Hundreds of Beavers. I definitely want to see it. And I did really enjoy Hellboy the Crooked Man and Unfrosted. But, yeah, that would be my pick for the best. Which, admittedly, is not the strongest pick in the world. You know, I'm sure there's probably something better if I watched more movies, but my God, the stuff you gotta slog through. Ardent, oh, we need a Sweeney pitch. Give me 3 minutes. Sydney Sweeney in Dune 3. She is the new desert messiah, and the worms listen to her because every time they see her boobs, they get completely rigid and then they can't move. So that would be my pitch. And then, you know, she's topless through the entire movie. Yes, Sydney Sweeney in a remake of Roadhouse, where she's the bouncer, and she can't actually beat anybody up, but guys just listen to her because, you know, she just says, oh, would you mind leaving? Because my boss wants you to leave. And then the guys go, oh, really? Hey, I'm really sorry. Because they just want to please Sydney, and they just leave. Ardent, okay, picture it, Sicily 1915, rebuilding after the big war. Sydney Sweeney plays a young widow hunting down collaborators who she kills with a hidden titty knife and thigh-high gun. That's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of like that one too. Zevik Demise, when does this movie hit the theaters? Take my money. Ardent, best part movie title, Revanche, the Sophia Petrillo story. Is that a real person? Did you make up that name, or is that a real person? I'll have to look that up later. I'll tell you, watch my Betsy Ross video. I'll tell you who was a looker back in the day and who could play her in a movie is Betsy Ross. It turns out Betsy Ross was a stone cold fox. And there's a rumor that I read when I was doing my research that Betsy was so hot that I think he was the Prussian colonel or general fighting at the Battle of Trenton, delayed his attack because he was somehow distracted or wanted to get with Betsy Ross. Ardent, Sophia from the Golden Girls? Oh. Ardent, picture it, Sicily. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. What's coming up next week? That's a good question. I got to get my calendar all reconfigured. That's going to be in January. It's going to be January, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. January 5th is the next live stream. I don't have anything scheduled, so it should be a good day to do the live stream at 7. Ardent, I believe the word was smitten in those days. Ardent, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for tuning in to the best and worst of movies for 2024. I'm glad 2024 is mostly behind us now. I hope you have something fun to do on New Year's. I normally don't do anything, but this year I think I got something on my social calendar. We shall see. And then I think my first event is like the 9th of January. It's going to be a rough January. It's always a rough January looking for events to do, but February sounds like it's shaping up. So I hope you all have a good New Year's. I hope you make various promises to yourself, and if you break them the whole way. Don't do it halfway. If you're gonna break your diet, eat a whole chocolate cake. Don't go halfway in on it. Ardent, see you on Tuesday. Watch my Twitter times for 2 streams, morning gaming and evening full year wrap. Oh my God, Ardent's doing some crazy amounts of streaming. William Wallace, you rock, Tony. Give little Joan a treat for me. I will. Zevix, Happy New Year, everyone. Ardent, you got a lady to kiss at midnight, by the way. I do. I do. William Wallace, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, everyone. And we'll see you in the next one.